WDWNT presents the Roast of Tom Corless. Here's your roast master for the evening, Pete Carney.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the first ever WDWNT Roast. Tonight, we roast our founder and, I think, still CEO, Mr. Tom Corless. You know, Tom created WDWNT in 2007, and since then it has grown into a tremendous website, multiple, an array of podcasts, video segments, video shows. You assembled a hard-working group of staff members, and all coming together for this roast extravaganza. I would say you've done a great job, sir, but let's take a look at these clips.
We should take a little stroll. A stroll down memory lane. Tonight!
Hello, I'm Tom Corless here, and welcome to WDW News Tonight.
Almost never the same.
I'm Tom Corless. What do you want me to do? And we have a live studio audience here.
Wait a second, I'm not done talking.
Yeah, 7.
Because, you know, I'm having some deja vu, guys.
So am I. I feel like we did this before.
The Bob Chapek mandate that the Disney parks be used to leverage intellectual properties will likely claim the existence of a beloved original attraction that is the definition of a Magic Kingdom classic, and do so just before its 50th birthday in 2021.
That's when I reach for a bowl of my favorite cereal, Unscrupuloops.
But really, who wants to live in a world where I'm right and the company that created their childhood is lying to them? Pardon me if I don't believe the people in the PR department. So Disney had, in fact, lied.
Twitter obsession.
Is that Corless guy dead yet?
Yes, Bob.
I'm sure they'll get to the bottom of who's leaking false info to us. This plan exists. It's on calendars. It's out there. It's from several sources. It's very real. And that's what's going on. I have nothing to prove to anyone. If you choose to believe current management and the Parks blog because I'm a jerk, which admittedly is true, you have conquered this community, become the most read Disney fan site in the country at the very least. You have amassed a giant social media following. You've visited every Disney theme park on Earth. You've seen probably every dream you had in this world come true by age 30. And you know what? If you don't believe me, I don't really care. If you bring it up, I'm going to block you on social media. I'm still going to be here. So next time, I suggest you do better and get the job done next time. This is my life. Disney World is my life. And I'm not going to sit back and watch some guy who marketed ketchup.
Remember, kids, what goes around, comes around. What goes around, comes around, comes around, comes around.
I love it. There you have it. This is going to be a magical night. I want to start out early by just saying I'm not going to go too hard on Tom right away. We have an illustrious dais, and as long as they do their job, I shouldn't have to go too hard, but I am here waiting in the wings. So I should begin with just giving you a little background of Tom Corless.
Oh, boy.
You know, if you don't know much about him, he's an American media executive and businessman who is currently CEO. He was born to a working mother and father, and his family went to annual trips to Walt Disney World. His 3 decades have been marked with growth and transformation. He's a visionary leader. He has championed using creativity and cutting-edge technology to drive expansion and improving your experience. He developed and successfully implemented groundbreaking business models and identified new revenue streams to achieve business objectives and sustain long-term growth for this company. During his tenure, the company has seen the largest investment in expansion in its history, and you've done a great job. His approach focuses on ensuring that every aspect improves your experience, and he balances demand, he integrates new ideas, and he introduces beloved and iconic experiences to generations of Disney fans. And you're doing a great job, Tom. He also led a period of transformation in the worlds of play, storytelling, and learning about the parks. Throughout, you've enhanced the employee experience and you've made it a top priority, and I thank you personally. You've driven initiatives and programs related to education, healthcare, childcare, diversity, inclusion, veteran, and active duty. I'm sorry. I'm reading Bob Chapek's bio here, and I never realized how much you guys had in common. That's uncomfortable. I'm sorry. So let me just shoot from the hip here and tell you a little bit about Tom that I know. I've only been with the company around 2.5 years, but I've learned a few things. One, Tom has no tattoos at all. That's because just like his relationships, his staff, and his Twitter followers, he doesn't like to keep anything around for too long. What else? Tom lives alone in his apartment here in Orlando. He recently actually tried to adopt the puppy. Sadly and thankfully, he was turned down because, let's be honest, just like a Gyoza dog, he would have killed it in 2 minutes. What else is going on? Tonight, people are going to make fun of you, and it's going to be hard for me to watch. A lot of people are going to make fun of your haircut, for instance. And I'm going to ask everyone to take it easy. I know your barber is currently unavailable with this whole coronavirus going around. But the minute we can get Tom's mom on a plane, she's going to get down here right away and solve this problem. Speaking of the way you look, Tom, some people might make fun of your shirts and the way you look in the parks and on the programming. And that brings us to our sponsor for the night. We'd like to thank Kohl's for being our wardrobe sponsor here at WDW News Tonight each and every Thursday. Thank you, Kohl's, and thank you for sponsoring tonight's program.
Yeah, Kohl's of Glendale.
Kohl's of Glendale.
That's the one. Yeah.
Yes. All right, we're going to have a lot of fun, and I am glad you are tuning in, but I have some housekeeping I have to get to. All right, let's see what we got here. Rules, intro, sponsor, audience. Okay, we got the intro, we got the sponsor. Thanks again to Kohl's. All right, rules. If you guys are watching, you're probably watching where there's a chat available, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, Crowdcast. If you are watching it, there's probably a chat. I'm going to ask you, it's going to be a lot of fun tonight. We're all going to poke fun of each other and Tom, but please be respectful in that chat. We will take some of the best jokes, and you might see them on the air tonight, but just avoid the bad jokes. They're not going to be funny. Avoid the bad language. Let's keep it fun and friendly for everyone watching. With that being said, I think it is time to bring up our first roaster of the night.
Oh, boy.
Our first roaster served in the military, and I'm sure he's constantly used to hearing, thank you for your service. And he also works here, so that's how Tom pays him. He says, thank you for your service. God. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eric Morton.
Oh,
You're muted.
You're so good at this.
Can you hear me now?
There you are.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. First off, I would like to thank Pete Carney for hosting tonight. Originally, Nick was going to host, but it turns out Pete was red with envy, so he got the job.
Boy.
As always, it was a difficult wardrobe choice for Pete tonight. Long Island Club DJ or the guy who collects protection money for the Long Island Club. There are a number of true heroes who work behind the scenes at WDWNT to make it the success that it is today. I want to briefly recognize Colleen, who is talented, patient, organized, and strong. Colleen's very talented with a background in stage management, so it's no surprise that she built our puppet theater and a number of our set pieces. I used to think that Colleen made the sock puppets, but it turns out she stole them from therapy, which is required if you work side by side with Tom Corless every day. The puppets also come in handy when young women are asked to point where Nick touched them.
Oh boy. Oh man.
Colleen is not the only hero. There are a number of talented people who work Jedi-level magic behind the scenes every day. If Colleen is the calm Rey to Tom's emotional Kylo Ren, then perhaps Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia would be Jason and Jill Diffendahl. And not only are they both very talented and hardworking, but viewers were also shocked to find out that they were, in fact, brother and sister and not a couple. Jessica Figueroa will be here tonight. You need a moment, Tom? I'm sorry.
Well, I got to throw in all my incest jokes now.
Jessica Figueroa is here tonight. Jessica runs the day-to-day operation of our website, along with her cat, Gordo. Jessica is also the one who proved to all of us that when it comes to the dating game, it is possible for everyone to lose. I don't really know a bunch of these people who are going to be on the dais tonight, so I'm skipping them, and I'm going to try to keep this mostly Tom-focused, which is also how Tom operates the company. Over the last dozen or so years, Tom has made a name for himself in the Disney community. Tom started off with a dream to make a website more stable and reliable than ShopDisney.com, and then on his second day, he decided to set his sights even higher. As the site grew, Tom saw increased attention and increased scrutiny from Disney and Disney fans alike. But he has never been afraid to rock the boat in order to give an honest opinion. He may not know this, but at one point, Disney management was so upset with him that they did consider revoking his annual pass and banning him from the parks. However, once finance showed them what Tom spends annually on food and merchandise in the parks, they decided to cut him a break.
Hold on, I'm moving around.
The most activity Tom has seen in
we got
7
Tetris?
months.
We got any Tetris music for this?
I'm just trying to get it so that the YouTube logo isn't covering your face.
That's probably a good idea, or maybe a bad idea.
There we go.
I get Mike Wazowski. This. Go ahead.
I would say top right corner is best, but let's not interrupt Eric's fantastic job.
That's okay. I was going to say that Disney even went so far as to change the tags you see on their plush animals, so now they say ages 2 to 7 or Tom Corless. More recently, Tom said goodbye to Pin Central at Epcot on their last day in business. Tom hung around until closing that last day because he wanted to make sure that their final sale was a pin. This turned out to be a win-win because the cast members at Pin Central remarked that Tom Corless was the last person that they wanted to see.
Oh, man.
Tom's brushes with Disney management are becoming the stuff of legends, and there is definitely some bad blood. Seriously, can you imagine what would happen if Tom came face-to-face with his nemesis, Bob Chapek, in, say, a barber shop? Okay, that's a bad example. Bob hasn't needed a haircut in many years, and Tom only gets his haircut at the Harmony Barbershop on Main Street, USA, which Bob Chapek does not know exists. I'm kidding again. Tom cuts his own hair with a chisel. One of Tom's greatest and most well-known accomplishments was saving the country bears from extinction. When he revealed that there were plans to get rid of them, the community rallied around the bears and they were saved. And Tom's bear-related heroics aren't limited to preventing ursine job losses. He also once saved Brer Bear's ass. It's true, literally. Google it. Well, maybe don't Google Tom Corless and bears together, if you know what I mean. You might find something unexpected. I kind of walked into WDWNT blind. I didn't know anything about Tom, and now just a few months later, I'm being called onto the dais to roast him in front of the HR director. It's okay, though. I'm told that he has stopped firing people and instead just transitions them to seasonal.
Well done.
Yeah. Before I met Tom, I'm not quite done, Pete. I'm sorry. Before I met Tom,
Pete, you're doing great.
All right. Before I met Tom, I never dreamed that I could get paid to write jokes and talk about Disney parks. And it turns out I was right. Tom, what you've built at WDWNT is a testament to your passion, your hard work, and the ability to pick the right people and even keep some of them around. You should be proud of what you've created. I'm actually a little suspicious that Tom was so on board with this roast idea. he would not have greenlighted this thing unless he already had some good rebuttal material. So to my fellow roasters, we took the bait. So prepare for what's coming. We all probably deserve it. Tom, here's to you. Kungaloosh.
Cheers. Well done by Eric Morton. A resounding sound of applause. Resounding sound of applause.
You mean a round of applause?
Resounding. Resounding applause? Or a sounding round? Isn't it a resounding applause?
No, it's a round of applause.
No, but Colleen,
Whatever way it is, it's the cue for Nick with the fake applause.
Well, Nick, that was really just me vamping because Nick is on the fake applause button. I wanted all the roasters to have applause tonight, but apparently, sorry, Eric, you didn't make the cut.
Yeah, what would have ever made you think that Nick would not be quick to hit a button? What precedent would there possibly be for that?
Tom lived off fake applause for 16 years, and finally, we can't hear it. This is the one time we need it.
16 years, yeah, I was doing fake talk shows by myself.
I mean, according to you, you've done everything by yourself. I don't know how we put the studio together. I don't know what we did with the wheel or fire, because without you, we would be lost. But listen, it's time to move on to our next roaster. This next roaster has been around for quite a while, longer than myself. He has done shows. He has written comedy material, but you probably know him for what he's done best the last, I don't know, since he's been here, our legal department. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron is coming up next. Ron recently adopted a child this year, which is very, very nice, but also the most lawyer thing you could do, because now legally this person has to listen to his opinion for the rest of their life. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ron Deanna.
Well, I want to thank our host, Pete Carney. His idea of a 12-step program is stopping at jelly rolls after drinking around the world. Now, I'm looking around at my fellow panelists, and I'm honored to be among a veritable who's that of the Disney online community. First, there's Patrick Hackett, who'd still be on Twitter if his joke death threats were a bit more racist.
Wow.
And he's also the only person ever try and order a plate of Bugatti at Tony's Town Square. You know, I don't want to make a joke about how young Nick's dates are, but doing so is statutory. It's good to see some of the crew like Anthony O, who's best known for me, which is an amazing coincidence because that's a character he plays. Oh, and then there's Struve. I'm not sure what I'm more amazed by, that you managed to run a multi-season show named after an ABBA song, or that a man who ran a show named after an ABBA song has fathered children. Now, this is legitimately the most successful person on this panel. Chris is smart enough to have been a contestant on both Jeopardy and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but he's not smart enough to keep his name off Dawn of Justice and Suicide Squad.
Suck it, Lestraps.
And then, of course, there's Jason Diffendahl. I like to make fun of him, but looking at him, nature's already done that itself.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, and also there's Jessica, Tom's apparent alter ego, but that's not really fair. If he was going to have a female online persona, I think he could do better than Crazy Cat Lady.
Oh, man. Wow.
I'm not going to abuse Jason and Jessica anymore since Tom gets angry when people try and do his job for him. And finally, Jill Diffendahl, whom even Jared Kushner is accused of taking some nepotistic jobs.
Wow.
Now, a lot of my job around here is in the background, usually trying to keep Tom out of more trouble than he actually gets himself in. Unfortunately, that means most of the stuff I would have to make fun of is protected by attorney-client privilege. I'll just say that Tom Hagen has an easier client to deal with.
Smart jokes.
The only thing that Tom has less of a grasp on than legality is how the website actually runs.
Oh my God.
The only thing I've done around here the other thing I've done around here for a long time is trying to make Tom look funny. Sorry, sound funny. He managed to look funny on his own. It's hard to write jokes for him. His sense of humor stuck in the 80s with Carson, Ghostbusters, and Back to the Future. The only thing more dated than his sense of humor is his clothing. The man wears more plaid than the entire lineup of Lollapalooza in 1993.
The one person
I get the
one person got it.
I guess the button-down shirts are needed when you have a head as big as Tom does. The only thing bigger than Tom's ego is his pin collection, and he's probably really proud of that. The man makes Kanye West look like Diogenes of Synops. Yes, I'm sure that joke went over almost everybody's head, except it probably hit Tom's. Now, over the years I've followed and been involved in the site, I've got to watch Tom grow from a petulant child to a petulant man-child. The first time I met Tom, an animatronic elephant on the Jungle Cruise had shot him in the face. I can't believe it took another 7 years for the company to start taking those shots too. He's been accused of making up a lot of stories about things that are never going to happen. I wish I could say that isn't true, but I did once get a wedding invitation from him.
That was my favorite.
He's also become infamous for taking the everything's better in Japan stance, and to be fair, he has it in common with tons of other preteen boys. Except instead of taking pictures of Sailor Moon to the bathroom like they do, he takes pictures of Shandu. As I said, Tom's biggest problem is his ego, and I realized I wrote the same joke twice. Tom's biggest problem is his ego. He's like a cross between Kanye West and Old Navy. This ego leads to a lot of Twitter fights, most of which Tom's accused of going too far in. I will say that as a fellow New York Italian, as long as everybody walks out alive, we don't consider any fight as going too far.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest, the Tom in real life is very different from the Tom the internet knows. Hell, he even tried to get me to eat at Tony's once. He takes his stances against the company he does because he generally cares about the parks, and he cares much about his friends. During one of the hardest times of my life, probably the most heartfelt conversation I had was with the one with Tom, who helped me get through it. He's truly been a good friend these 8 years I've known him, and despite driving me crazy, I look forward to working with him for many more. Salute.
Cheers. Very nicely done.
Cheers.
That is Ron Deanna. Nicely done. Do we have fake applause?
No, can I mention we got some super chats?
I have some super chats.
You got them? All right,
Oh, I
yeah.
have some super chats.
I don't know. Are you hosting?
Wow, get out. Get out of your own roast. We have some amazing super chats. So if you're not sure what a super chat is, I was going to bring this up later on, but you guys are already firing away. If you're watching on YouTube, there is a $ right next to where you can chat, and that is where you can make donations to keep WDWNT moving on strong right through this coronavirus season and keep our doors open. And some people have really helped us out already in the first 20 minutes of the show. So I want to thank Mike coming out with a $4.99 donation. Thank you so much, Mike. And then not to be outdone here, but Amina, I literally talk to this person every single week. Still don't know how to say the name, but they are amazing. They support all of our shows. I believe also a Wigs member. Thank you so much for the $20 super chat.
Thank you.
And now someone is crazier than us because they have donated $100 in the super chat, and a good friend of the show and all the shows all the time. I mean, they've commented on Party with Pete and Park Center and News Tonight. Super fan and super awesome person. More Beverly, please. $100 super chat. Thank you so much to More Beverly. Really, really appreciate that. And now we were going to shut this thing down, but since I'm finally going to get paid for the next 20 minutes, let's keep this roast going. Coming up next, we have a bit of a veteran and old school regime. I have never met this person, but based on the jokes you're about to hear, I really want to hang out with him.
Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chris Lestraps.
Oh, boy.
Boo! Boo! Thanks, Matt Paul. You put on some weight.
Oh.
It's truly an honor to be here on such an historic night. The first night in WDWNT history, people in the audience might actually laugh. But at nothing Nick says. Patrick Hackett's here too. That must mean he got rejected from Jeopardy again. Look, Patrick, if they let Ellen DeGeneres and a dead guy on already, you're never making it. Now, there's a reason why I've been on so many more game shows than you. I have a face for television, and you have a face for podcast. Though I wish Patrick was like his Twitter account. Gone forever. And it's a bunch of people just decided not to even show up. So it's just like WDWNT to overpromise and underdeliver. But we're not here to talk about all those losers. We're here to talk about one big fat loser, Tom Corless.
Here.
Tom, you've had so many bad ideas over the years. You've thought, what's one more? Now, since he was a kid, Tom has always loved Audi animatronics at the Disney parks, mainly because they're the only people on Earth that can't tweet at him. If Tom was a character in Pirates of the Caribbean, he'd actually be pleasant to sit through. Now, a lot of people think Tom is this angry guy, but he's more than just some crazy person who loses it on Twitter. He also loses real job offers, and fiancés. Now, Johnny Carson is one of Tom's biggest idols, and I really wish Tom was more like him. Dead. Now, some people complain that Tom is really hard on Disney right now. It's just that he wants them to do better. He's the reason why God gave Bob Chapek 2 middle fingers. Now, Tom's well known for making cast members cry. When they were furloughed, Walt Disney World cast members rejoiced that they didn't have to see him for months. But as Zangief said, and Wreck-It Ralph, just because you're a bad guy does not make you a bad guy. No, it makes you a terrible guy. Now, WDWNT has created a lot of memorable characters over the years. There's the Tag Cloud of Doom that destroyed Christmas podcast parades. There's Whiny, the most coherent talker in the history of the network. But the greatest character WDWNT ever created was Tom's Canadian girlfriend. There's a reason why Tom loves Figment so much. He's good at the long con. Like making up all those breaking news stories. Sure, country bears were going away. Sure, Tom. But the truth is in the first 3 letters of her Twitter name. Fib. Hashtag Chris joke. Now, Tom even hired an actress straight out of Central Casting to play the part when he needs someone around. Clearly, she deserves all the acting awards. Her real name is Natasha Quackenbush, and you can see her this fall on ABC's inevitable reboot of Modern Family. I'm just kidding. Tom is great with women. That's why there's so many on staff.
There are.
That's not true, of course. There are very few women on staff, but there sure are a lot of bitches. Now, we've had some great impressionists at WDWNT over the years, including Anthony Akula and Scott Smith, but Tom does some pretty terrible impressions, like of a human being. In the past, there have been walkouts from WDWNT staffers. I wish Tom would walk out just for the exercise. Too bad you can't count jumping to conclusions and running your mouth as fitness routines. Look, I'm not saying Tom is fat, but when he found out he was having a roast, he said he wanted his medium rare. Now, in these crazy times, a lot of people at the Walt Disney World Company and other businesses around the world have been furloughed. But I'm happy to report that Tom hasn't furloughed any of the staff because he's never paid them to begin with. Now, don't be surprised. Limited edition pins and 8 trips a year to Asia don't pay for themselves. But I know we're all looking forward to life getting back to normal before this disaster hit, when Chapek wasn't leading the Walt Disney Company, and Tom didn't tweet for 6 whole weeks. Now, in all seriousness, Tom, I love you. one of the best weekends I ever had at Walt Disney World was the weekend of your wedding. I'm so glad you didn't get married to that girl. It saved me from having to buy you a wedding gift. But I think you really would have enjoyed those oven mitts. But I'm really proud of you, Tom. You've built something special here at WDWNT. Through rampant plagiarism and ripping off every funny pop culture bit of the last 50 years. You wouldn't know an original idea if it slapped you in the face. You're like the Jeffrey Katzenberg of the Disney online community. And like Katzenberg, we know we can't get rid of you no matter how hard we try. I want to say I've enjoyed working with you and WDWNT over the years, but I want to leave here with my integrity instead. You silly goose. Good night.
Well done. That is Chris Lestraps. Still dressed like the last day he saw Tom, wearing eclipse glasses and a bowling shirt. Nicely done, Mr. Lestraps. We've mentioned Tom's obsession with collecting things. Plush. Ron mentioned plush. Chris mentioning friends. And when I hear plush and friends, I think we need to give thanks to the person who created our opening montage. And we'll see him later on the show, Tyler Mann, because Tom loves his furry friends. And I want to thank Tyler for being a part of the show tonight. And I believe that they met at a hotel at a convention. I'm not sure which convention, but Tom and Tyler met, and Tom loves his plush. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but I just want to say thanks, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler.
People that I was going to cause all the quitting tonight.
Anyway, with that being said, we got some more super chats. This is amazing. We're going to have to do a roast when we do Toys for Tots. But instead, you're putting toys right in Nick's van. So, first up, I got to thank Pat MC, Pat Mick, with a $25 donation. That's my dude right there. John came out with a $3 donation. John, thanks for reaching deep. Jesse Edwards, $5. Sam Fritz, $5. Andrea Ross, $5. And then, I hope I get this right, Milan Kassar with a $25 donation. Wowza. Money is pouring in. People love watching Tom get roasted. We might have to replace every Thursday night with a roast of Tom Corless.
5 nights a week.
5 nights a week. You rate the insults. We'll keep saying
it worked
them.
for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right?
If we were to do that, then this would be a very busy person. Our next roaster, wow, what can we say? She gets everything done around here. Our next roaster is Jessica Figueroa. You may know her as the quiet little Cuban here on staff, but she is our editor-in-chief. She gets the job done every single day. You may know her for her cat. Everyone loves Gordo, which, of course, I'm sure you guys all know this. I was called Gordo my entire life, which means very snuggly, which is why you see Gordo in a lot of her videos. Jess reminds me of my niece. You know, when I take her to the parks, she drags a plush on the ground, has a phone in another hand, and she's shorter than everybody else. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Jessica Figueroa.
Well, yeah, we gotta finish this line first.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jessica Figueroa, also known as the girl who posts everything on the site.
Go the other way. You're like over in my square.
Here's what we're gonna do: center yourself in the screen and just speak on a half Pete Carney level.
What?
You're low.
There wasn't this much direction with half the other people who shut up. Okay, so
they did good.
Speak up, or Nick, raise her mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Good.
Okay, so you know my name already. I'm the girl who posts everything on the site, and depending on what Twitter faction you belong to, I'm actually Tom Corless. But today I'm virtually surrounded by, well, I thought this was going to be like a V-mixing, so I thought I was actually going to be surrounded by people. But anyway, I'm surrounded by some of the website's best talent, starting with Pete, our host. My fondest memory of Pete is actually a recent one. During the CityWorks grand opening, Pete actually offered to taste and review all of the beers on tap. But if you're wondering why the review was so late, it's because I didn't hear from Pete for the next 3 days.
Well, like Jesus, I come back every 3 days.
What?
I don't know.
He is risen.
I arise.
So
Easter's fresh on the mind.
So I met Pete Patrick. I met Pete, Patrick, and Ron at WDWNT's Rex the Halls event. This was back in 2019, and I don't think we really remember much beyond that, besides waxing the company logo onto Pete's chest, and the rest of us drunkenly just tucking in Nick, who was fast asleep into like a Bay Lake Villa like futon. But anyway, since then I've only been able to strike up a conversation with Nick like a handful of times, notably the night of our Halloween special. I don't know if you remember, I was wearing a schoolgirl outfit. As for the rest of the beautiful people on the dais, we have Jill and Jason, who fondly remind me of my brother and I, because we're also trying to siphon as much money as possible from Tom. So good job, you guys. Tonight we are celebrating a legacy of torment and ill-founded theme park rumors perpetuated by none other than our roasty Tom Corless. Despite being contractually obligated to be on the dais for tonight, I know pretty much no repercussions will come out of what I say because, well, no one wants my job and Tom refuses to work. So if you've ever wondered what my job is like, speaking of my job, if you've ever read or heard anything funny or like any funny tweets from Tom, it's probably because I've ghostwritten it. In fact, Tom's so pleased with my work, he actually offered me a Disney Plus login in lieu of a bonus. It was great. The reality is, Tom's given me just the opportunity of a lifetime, honestly. I went from working in a stressful office in downtown Miami to sitting at home with my cat and getting yelled at over specialty cupcakes on a regular basis. Honestly, it's the American dream. My parents escaped communism, they immigrated to a new country, and they got me through college also I could end up writing another dictator's hot takes and theme park attractions. You're worse than Castro! Whenever I muster up the audacity to complain, Tom reminds me of all the cool opportunities I've had through this job. You know, I got to cover Galaxy's Edge. I always get to review usually some of the newer restaurants, and I even get to watch Tom yell at cast members in person over boarding groups. That's A+. In fact, I even got to meet Derek Bergen in real life. So for all of you guys who've never seen him, got to meet him. Even as we're facing these tumultuous times, I'm still very blessed to have a job, and for that I actually have Animal Crossing to thank, because the only reason I'm still employed is because Tom just wants to play video games all day. WDWNT, for better or for worse, is a juggernaut of the Disney fan community, and I'm actually really proud to be one of the leading women on the team, if not the third and only other woman they've hired besides Jill and Maria. After all is said and done, I hope I can still have a job after this so I can continue living alone in my condo in Miami and keep my giant fat tub of a cat properly fed. But at least I know that if WDWNT ever tanks, I thought I was going to be on the show today, so this is why this is in here. I can only hope that Easy Josh will hire me, much to the chagrin of yet another blogger's estranged long-distance girlfriend.
All right.
That's it. That's the tweet.
Well done. That's Jessica Figueroa. You guys know her as Fig. Nicely done. Fresh, raw talent. Her first roast. Nicely done, Jessica. All right, listen. I got to tell you guys about some more super chats, and then we're going to take a quick break. We'll let you have time to refill your beverages, hit the restroom, because you do not want to miss what is coming up. But before we go, I got to thank Anthony L. for the $5 super chat. Amina, still don't know, still love you, still know you're a Wigs member, still love you. $5. Mike Sednak sent $5 twice. He's loving the show. I think every time he likes something, he sends $5, so we better be funny. Brian Sutton with a 20 spot. The Vidman, $5. Weird, the Vidman.
Vidman.
That sounds like Nick outside of Typhoon Lagoon. The Vidman.
Numbers.
And then Kyle Wimp, which, rough last name, bro. I'm sorry. But Kyle Wimp, $5.
You're not supposed to roast the people who keep us in
I just said rough last name. I mean, that's not his fault. That's his parents. So with that being said, thank you for all the super chats. Keep them coming. We're going to take a quick, short, super mega tiny break. And when we come back, we have more roasting. And Tom finishes the whole show off getting back at all of us. Stay tuned. Stick it right there. This is the Roast of Tom Corless.
Stick it right there.
Hello, I'm Tom Corless, the most famous man in the Disney online community. But you know, it wasn't always this way. For 9 years, WDWNT.com posted photo reports and videos of the highest quality, but it seemed that no one outside of a very dedicated group of fans were able to find our work. But then, I discovered the secrets of blogging, and now WDWNT is read by millions of people each and every month. I'm ready to share my secrets with you in my incredible new class, Tom Corliss's Unofficial Guide to Blogging, this weekend at the Orlando International Airport Marriott. In this fantastic course, you'll learn amazing things to improve your clicks and page views, such as when to use the word breaking in all caps, how to misguide readers in your titles in order to get more clicks, how to come across vaguely racist in movie reviews, how to turn a number into a catchphrase and huge merchandise sales, how to steal stories from California randos off of Twitter, and how to piss off that one really scary guy on WDW Magic who may have women trapped in his basement. So come on down to the Orlando International Airport Marriott this weekend and take my course for only $77.77 per person. In no time, you'll be the new king of clickbait, the grand poobah of page views, and the sultan of ad sales. And don't worry about your readers. They'll never even realize you're dumbing down your content. See you real soon, suckers!
Hi, I'm Tom Corless. You might remember me as the founder of WDW News Today, host of this show. I think I've been on Park Center and News Today with WDW News Today. Recently, I launched a running list of maintenance issues at Walt Disney World. People thought I was crazy. People thought it was just pointless complaining. People also thought Brer Bear never had a tail. Well, now I'm ready to share my methods with you. I call it Corless. Do you have a dishwasher that's always backing up? Leaky pipes? Are your audio animatronics missing tails? Now with the power of Corless, I will make all of the issues with your home, and someone without acknowledging that I said anything will secretly fix your issues without any hype. And we promise results.
My refrigerator died, so I used Corless to call out its shortcomings, and within days it was fixed. And full of bear tails.
My husband promised to paint the house months ago, so I used Corless. And when I woke up the next day, my house was covered in bear tails.
I needed to take my dog to the vet to get fixed, but I could never find the time. But after using Corless once, my dog would never procreate again. And for some reason, it had a second tail.
It's all possible with the power of Corless. Have all your noticeable and unnoticeable problems replaced today without fail. Why would I say tail brayer? I mean there.
Corless services available to book at WDWNT.com. Does not work for those on a media list who are hashtag hosted.
Hi, I'm Thomas. And before I start a hard day of writing for the Parks blog, I need a hearty breakfast. That's when I reach for a bowl of my favorite cereal, Unscrupuloops.
Oh, can I have some?
Sure, Bob. You like it?
It's a little hard.
That's because Unscrupuloops is full of nonsensical toys.
Oh, good. Toys are my barrier to entry when it comes to breakfast cereal. No one buys Cheerios or Rice Krispies unless there's a toy in it.
That's right, Bob. No one will eat a world-renowned cereal when you get something crammed with recognizable things that are truly horrible.
Yeah, we should just throw all of our Cheerios away. It's garbage.
Well, Bob, the other people in the house might complain if we do that. They really like Cheerios.
Well, I guess I don't want everyone to hate me. We can keep the Cheerios, but I'm for damn sure throwing out all this Captain EO Crunch.
That's fine, Bob. We can get away with that one.
Okay, I'm gonna get some ketchup and some pickles, and I'm gonna finish this in my room.
Unscrupuloops is filled with bird and bear-shaped oat pieces, mixed with hard toys like Lego bricks and Tinker toys. And if someone in your house doesn't like the toys in the cereal, just take them out quietly and just tell them they were never there to begin with.
Is that Corless guy dead yet?
Yes, Bob. It's better to just lie to him, too.
Unscrupuloops are part of a complete public relations disaster.
Welcome back to the roast of Tom Corless, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that break. We're having a great time here in studio, here in Orlando, Florida. Can you hear me now? I was told the mic wasn't working, but it should be now. Can you guys hear me?
Yes?
Yes. People are saying yes. I don't know.
All right, sweet. That gave me time to thank these three people real quick. Amy with the super chat, I believe it was a 20 spotter. Double thanks for all the love you and everything you guys do. DXWWF3, great job, Fig. And also Dawn H16, $10. Awesome job, Jeff.
This is great footage, by the way.
Now I'm back. I had
Crouching
to read it 'cause
in a
we were
puppet
prep.
theater.
You know what? The super chat is fun. People come in and you see less of my face. That's the real reward. Is I have to dip down to read it off the computer screen.
Pete, we got a bunch more than that.
All right, Colleen, fire away, Colleen.
We
Super
have
chat queen.
Shannon, who donated $4.99. Not my Shannon, other Shannon. But it said, just for Colleen, becomes Tom Corless.
Yes.
Jillian, as you wish, donated $5. This is for Jessica only. Jordan Garrett donated $25. Amy Lockman, $20. Don, $10. Rick Godfrey, $99.99. And Eric Hall, $9.99. Mike just donated another $4.99. And Jeff Gordon, $19.99. We are over $450.
Wow.
You guys are amazing.
Thank you guys so much.
We will totally insult Tom every day if this will happen every day.
And we're just $50 away from me paying my rent, so keep those coming. Wow. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Listen, folks, we have been listening to your emails. We put out a post a few days ago, also this morning, saying if you had some jokes, to please send them to pete@WDWNT.com. And tonight, if you have some great jokes as well, you can throw them in the chat as long as they're respectful and funny. We have a special character with us who's going to read some of those jokes. Does Tully have any jokes yet, or are we going to see Tully later on tonight?
Oh, Tully has so many jokes.
Tully has so many jokes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tully.
Straight from the rejects
Nice to
of the
meet you.
Monsters Inc. dance floor, Tully, the blue
The
cat.
Monsters Inc. What?
Dance
floor? The rejects of what? Excuse me?
Monsters Inc. laugh floor.
What did you say?
Just
sure, close enough. Okay,
cat
hi
should
everyone.
just
I'm Tully.
start.
So I've been reading all of your chats and everything. We got a lot here, so let's start with these. Okay, so more Beverly Please says Tom looks like he cuts his hair with a Flowbee. I don't know what that is. Okay, John from Boston says, "Wow, this is the roast of Bob Chapek's fake Twitter account." We also have Darren Greer says 2XL plaid shirt companies are kept afloat solely by WDWNT. I could keep going. We have a billion of these. Just cut me off anytime. Angelina Alberto says, I was originally here just to listen, but Tom's shirt is so loud that I don't know if that's even possible anymore. Jay Huey says, Eric looks like Billy Mays and Bob Villa had a baby.
He does. This old house.
Look at that.
But I'm wearing my Tom outfit.
That is a Tom shirt.
It's a Bob Villa shirt.
He wore better.
Cupcake says, Tom, you so badly wanted to save the country bears, but now it's you and other people who caused it to close with this virus. I guess they're saying that we're responsible for it. Darren Greer says, okay, never mind. Darren knows way more of these. Doug Rosenthal says, who knew Tom Corless was a furry? Save your furry jokes for Tyler Mann, who's not going to be on tonight. Spencer from WDWNT says, this is just Tom's excuse to furlough us all at the end of the show until the parks reopen. Mike Sedmack, super chat at $4.99 saying, cheers, Eric, which is the worst sequel to Cheers.
More Beverly, please, super chatted $100 saying, thanks, Tom. I guess $100 worth of Beverly might have less bitterness than this chat. Joe Golick, I'm totally butchering that, says, first time in 10 years I've listened to these guys that Tom has kept his mouth shut this long. You want me to save the rest of these for later, Pete?
Sure, we're going to check in with Tully a little bit later on in the show. Tully, thank you for reading those jokes. Those were fantastic.
It's about as good as the laugh line.
Yeah.
How dare you?
You can send those jokes into our email or right into the chat you were watching from, and hopefully if they make the top tier, Tully will read them. Tully, you might want to narrow it down. On the next one, you only get your top 5. So choose your top 5 jokes.
Ooh, top 5.
For the end of the show.
Will do.
All right. With that being said, I think it's time to move on. Coming to the mic next, or sitting right in front of his computer, this roaster lost all privileges on Twitter somehow before Tom Corless. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you so much, Pete. Thank you. Welcome to the Roast of Tom Corless, or as we like to call it, WDWNT, the documentary part 2. Welcome to the Roast of Tom Corless, or as we like to call it, every single day on Diz Twitter.
How would you
Welcome
know?
to the Roast of Tom Corless, or as we like to call it, the most inappropriate thing we've done since we played Adult Match Game. Remember that? That was bad. It is an absolute honor to be here with my friends, colleagues, and Chris. To roast Tom Corless, Jeff Ross says, we only roast the ones we love, which makes me wonder, why are there so many people here? Pete Carney is our gracious host, and what can I say about Pete Carney that he hasn't said about himself? Pete is what happens when Red Bull and vodka become sentient.
Oh my god.
I enjoyed that joke when I first read it. It was good.
If loud was a superpower, Pete could absolutely save the universe. Pete's great to be around, though, because you are always teetering between a VIP experience and serious jail time.
Sorry.
I remember Fig mentioned it earlier when Pete waxed himself for charity. Lauren, I'm really sorry you had to find out about charity this year. Eric Morton was on before. I still don't know who he is. And honestly, I don't care to find out. How long does somebody last here anyway? I went and learned all the theme park news today's people's names. And what good did that do me? Or any of us, really.
Oh, man.
And the last Eric we had didn't work out so well. I see you running. Nicholas Cicero. Nick, I'm not going to lie. I was upset when you started taking over some of my co-hosting duties. I mean, what does Nick have that I don't have besides the white van with the free candy sign, a permanent ban from Typhoon Lagoon, and all those sweet Run Disney medals? For real, Nick slept with his Run Disney medal. Only for the 5K and 10K, though. The marathon was a little too old. 26.
Oh my god.
Wow. Now, I know you're all waiting for Nick to get his chance, but Nick has to go produce the Vinylmation Station or the Muppet Minute or the Jedi Hero and Princess. Thanks to Kaden in the chat for that idea. It's great to have Jason Diffendahl here. He's the beard, the hello we all know. And another third thing about his personality? I don't know. Horizons. Jason has been... God. Jason has been Tom's right-hand man for as long as I can remember. Jason is only 24 years old, so you can see what that relationship has done to him.
Nick?
Jason's legitimately a genius. He went to MIT. He could work for NASA. Why the hell is he still here? He takes more abuse from Tom.
That's a good question.
He takes more abuse from Tom than DSNY. I always wonder what Tom has on Jason. Is the beard fake? Is Jason actually in witness protection? Does he know where Walt's head is? There is no reason for Jason to still be here other than Stockholm Syndrome. I also don't know what Jason does here, except when something goes wrong, it's his fault. By the way, how is Jason not in jail? When WDWNT started, it was him and Justin Heyman, two creepy old guys, a child in Adam Roth, and a late teen Tom Corless. And they kept luring Adam and Tom to a hotel in New Jersey with the promise of Disney pins. Where the hell was Dateline NBC and Chris Hansen during this? Maybe Netflix will profile. Maybe Netflix will profile Jason, Tom, and Justin and call it the Pin King. Jason leads us to his sister Jill. Jill is our HR person here, which makes her the busiest person on staff. Can you imagine the HR nightmare Tom Corless is? He called women dames and broads in his teens. I've never seen him with a fedora, but I just assume he has one. She took the HR job after seeing how Tom treats Jason, which makes her the stupidest person on staff. I wouldn't expect anything else from a St. Joe's alum.
Oh, no.
Could you imagine hearing all the rumors about WDWNT, plus everything that Jason told you, and think, man, this is someplace I want to work? I've been here forever, and I still wonder what the hell I'm doing here. The lovely Jessica Figueroa has graced us with her presence. Contrary to what Twitter trolls believe, she is not the same person as Tom. Honestly, though, Fig, it's the internet. You're better off with them thinking you're a 30-something white man. If not, people would just be asking you for pictures of your feet.
Wow.
Fig has been an amazing addition and definitely was not hired to bring the count of WDWNT employees who are women and not white to 1. Anthony Yaculo. Oh, Anthony, I love you so much, brother. He was our man alongside Scott Smith. He provided all the voices to our favorite characters. But that is not all Anthony provides. No, wait. Yeah, that is absolutely all Anthony provides. Tom knows how to find people with skills, even if it is one specific unmarketable skill. It's really nice of Anthony to join us, though I imagine I'm going to have to take over his roast halfway through for him, you know, like I did for CO Real Late. Oh, hey, Patrick, you book all the guests now. Thanks.
That's like the way we do business. Just somebody's like, oh, yeah, you do this now.
The leader of the Orlando Commandos, Brandon Struve. One of the most creative people that we've had at WDWNT. It was a pleasure to listen to SOS, which stood for Super Obscure Show and was not a cry for help to get away from his on-air partner. It had to be a lot to carry that. It had to be a lot to carry that show with his co-host. And no, this is not a weight thing. It's a talent thing. Oh, talent is what Brandon has in spades. His biggest one is reminding everyone how much better Universal is than Disney. That is, until Disney offers him a better job. I have never seen a bigger corporate shill than Brandon. And I work here. Somehow, though, through it all, Brandon has remained friends with Tom. I don't know who that says less about, Brandon or Tom. Chris Lestrap's my mortal enemy is in the house. I guess with the quarantine, he's finally done being on game shows. Don't worry, Chris. Only a few hundred more until you catch me in the dollar column.
Ooh.
Chris once created a Twitter account to harass me being a silly goose. I guess it's still funnier than We're the Millers.
Oh my god.
But no regrets, buddy, right? If you ever need a hot tip on what is absolutely not coming to a theme park ever, make sure you check in with Chris. I wish Chris's wife was here. She's the real talent of the family. While she has done an amazing job on Legends of Tomorrow, Chris just remains a nightmare from the past. Before I get to the guest of honor, we must talk about Ron Diana. Ron is probably my closest friend here. It was an honor to go to his wedding and completely embarrass myself in the name of WDWNT. Ron's our legal team and probably one of the smartest people I know, which is terrifying on two separate fronts. Ron couldn't cut it at the magic carpets of Aladdin, and we think this guy passed the bar? And seriously, I don't think Ron has ever passed a bar. Yeah, I know it's an old joke, but it still works. He's a drunk. Just know, fair WDWNT staff, if you have a legal issue, the guy that has most of his jokes cut from the podcast parade for being too dark will be the one defending you. Now, Tom. Tom, I know when this is over, you'll get your chance to have the last word. I'm not scared, though, because none of us up here are writing for you.
Been waiting for that all night.
God damn it.
First and foremost, Tom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I feel partly responsible for the whole Scarlet thing. In my defense, who knew a courtship could start over an episode of a Disney game show? I'm also sorry for your current girlfriend. Not that I had anything to do with you two getting together. I'm just sorry for her. She's a lovely woman for who some reason is with you. You, a guy who named his fictitious award show after himself. Yes, I remember the Tommies. Tom is such a huge egomaniac that Lou Mangello asked him for tips. Tom charged him $400.
You have to explain to most of the audience who that is.
I just hope that when this is all over, we're not too mean to Tom, because if not, he may just run for president. Could you imagine President Corless? It would go almost exactly as things are going now.
The company or the country?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone just said yes.
Comparing Tom to Trump isn't fair. To Trump. Honestly, as far as I know, Donald Trump hasn't had his staff sing a song proclaiming him king of you dorks. At least, not yet. It could be coming. Tom is Trump plus Ebenezer Scrooge with a bit of Billy Martin thrown in. He has fired and rehired more people than anyone I know, and most of those were before we even made money here. And some of those people come back and they maintain a fantastic relationships. Others accuse Tom of stealing their laptop, or having their annual pass taken away, or getting them fired from their other job, or you get the idea. I'd be remiss if I didn't tell at least one personal story about a time I was hanging out with Tom. We started our day over at the Shire at Lord of the Rings Land at Animal Kingdom. We headed over to the Tower of Terror bar to have a drink.
This is so great.
That was before our dinner reservation at... That was before our dinner reservation at the Haunted Mansion restaurant.
That one's
we had a fast pass for the new marionette show, so we had to eat fast. We We didn't stay out late, though, because we didn't want to miss the new In-N-Out burger opening the next morning at City Walk. With all the stuff Tom takes credit for, I'm surprised Tom hasn't taken credit for Iger taking more of a leadership position than Chapek during the pandemic. What's really bad about this whole situation is that it makes me sound like a lunatic. I go around telling people, Bob Chapek knows who I am. He made a $1,200 tour. Tom told me he listens to Around the Hub. Tom, you are well aware I don't need help sounding like a crazy person. But that's what Tom Corless does to you. He makes you sound like a crazy person. You can't help repeat the number 7 if it's said to you. You start talking about otters and knee games and have to record Muppet sex sounds before you leave to go to Mass on Christmas Eve. That's the thing that happened. Being part of WDWNT makes you absolutely certifiable. And a big part of that is the evil genius that is Tom Corless. Tom, on a scale of 1 to 10, I give you a 1, 1, 1, 1.
Oh, there's some deep cuts.
Oh, yeah. I got them all. At the end of the day, this was honestly hard for me to write. Whoop. I'm getting played off. All right.
They're telling you to wrap up. Get in the light. He's getting the light.
I don't get to say the nice part? That's fine.
Don't say the nice stuff. We're just going to cut everyone off before they say something nice about Tom.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, go ahead. You can
There you
have
go.
30 seconds to say something nice about Tom.
Go.
At the end of the day, this was honestly hard for me to write. I love and appreciate everyone up on this day so much. We become family here, and some of you are closer to me than the family I was born into. Not you, Chris. It was an absolute honor and a privilege to be part of this network for as long as I have been. I cannot think of my life without the friends I've made because of WDWNT. I want to thank Tom for giving me the opportunity, for building all this, for not firing me when I challenged my co-host and his friends to a fist fight twice. Tom is a great guy, someone I'm happy to call my friend, and a tremendous success story. He built a company from the ground up, lasted through several walkouts, a failed engagement, and the losses of friends and funds. Through all this, he's managed to get people to donate several $1,000s to Toys for Tots. He gave an island of misfit Disney fans a place to hang out and be heard. He created not only a fan community, but a movement about holding these parks to the standards they should be held to. I think it's hard to impress or even compliment Tom, but I think I've got one. Walt Disney would have liked Tom Corless. In Walt Disney, Magician of the Movies by Bob Thomas, Walt was quoted as saying, "A person should set his goals as early as he can and devote all of his attention and talent to getting there. With enough effort, he may achieve it, or he may find something that is even more rewarding. But in the end, no matter what the outcome, he will know he has been alive." Tom has put all of his energy and talent into WDWNT. He said making this company as a success from a young age, and it is. Finally, from an interview with Fletcher Markle, Walt said, "Well, my greatest reward, I think, is that I've been able to build this wonderful organization. I hope we've been enough of a reward for you, Tom. You only roast the ones you love, and that's why all of us are here. Love you, Tom."
Well done. That is Mr. Patrick Hackett slaying it. Very well done. The man is a pro roaster. Speaking of pro roasters, this next person sneaking in didn't respond to our emails for the last 10 days. But it makes sense. His last name is Hyman because he's sneaking in and expanding this roast a little bit longer.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Justin Hyman.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, he's
a
alive.
person I don't know for such a warm welcome. Seriously, I look around, see all these great faces. 3 of you I know, and the rest of you I feel incredibly sorry for because I didn't get to warn you to run away. Tom Jason calls me up, says, "Hey, we've got 3 people that'll come roast us, Tom. The site's about to go bankrupt. We need to beg for money again. Can you show up and save us?" I heard Tom was going to be quiet for an hour and just listen for the first time in the 12 years I've known you. So I said, sure, I'll show up. I'm glad that your shirt is loud, though. So a lot of people don't know this. I'm an ordained minister. That's only thanks to Tom Corless. I was... It's been a while.
That's a great joke. No, it's real.
No, it's legit real. That's like, this is a touching, heartwarming moment here for me and Tom, because I was supposed to marry him, and now I just get a bunch of spam because of it. So, Tom, I'm really glad to see that there's some new, real talent around here. Since the pool only lasts for about 18 months at one time, it's great to see that the site can survive.
Which is true.
It really is. And but except for Jason, right? Jason's still here.
Yeah.
Much like Patrick, he already stole half my joke there for that. But
yeah.
Why is he still here? I don't know. I am glad to see that somebody's working HR. Again, another person, I have no idea who they are, other than they're related to Jason, apparently. God bless you. Godspeed. I hope you have a high level of profession. I did want to draw attention to a few of the failed projects here at WDWNT and the myriad of URLs that I probably still own.
Oh, God.
There's International Disney Parks News Today, Six Flags News Today, Coaster News Today, Coronavirus News Today. That's a new one. He actually asked me to get. I heard some talk earlier today about Tom possibly furloughing people. Of course, you have to pay people to start that. But Tom doesn't really like to furlough people. That's not a great business practice. That's not something you really want to do. It's much better to fire 13-year-olds unceremoniously as they cry on a Skype call. No, seriously, Tom doesn't do that. He just makes Jason and I do it. True story. So, Tom, in all seriousness, though, I could not miss this. It's been a little while since I've been on air, but it's nice to be back. And I'm glad to see where the site ended up. It's great. We went from doing it for free and for fun and to prove something to some underhanded ways to get some income through advertising or scheme here, scheme there. And now you just flat out tell people, we want your money, give it to us. Please pay here. At least you're honest. I appreciate it. You've come a long way. Tom, it's great. It's great to see everybody. I appreciate being here. Have a good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Justin, just fitting in the nick of time, Hyman. Very nice to have you on the show. Very heartfelt. Nice to have some of the OGs around. With that being said, I was going to space out the OGs, but he just slid in. We have a back-to-back OG. Tom, for your comical pleasure and your stomach distaste, please welcome Brandon Struve, everybody.
First of all, holy shit, Justin Heyman. He does exist. Also, I've been drinking since this thing started, which was fine until Patrick's rant and rail. So now that I'm older and drunker and I'm hearing my voice echo in my earbuds, this should be fun. I apologize for not having shelves full of Disney crap behind me. You'll have to excuse the fact that I'm not a 12-year-old. I'm also going to skip half roasting the rest of the dais because I don't know who the hell half these people are. It's kind of like watching the last season of Scrubs. There's some semblance of the good old days, but you don't recognize most of the cast anymore. Tonight, I've been side texting with the Statler to my Waldorf crystal straps. Everyone who's come up, it's who the hell is this? What's up with this guy? And when the hell did this show start looking so good? Animated characters, working live streams and videos. Back in my day, we had shitty talk show live audio shows. and we had to use our imagination to fill in details. I also apologize, my speech is shorter than the others have been. I guess you could say I put as much time and effort into writing this as Tom puts into showing up to any event that doesn't take place within the boundaries of a theme park. For those who don't know me, I'm one of the few former WDWNT members who's still on speaking terms with Tom. The last time I was on an episode of WDWNT, it was still a super obscure show. I formerly left in 2011 after the birth of my first kid. I had to focus my attention from one whining, screaming, and crying tyrant to another. I'm glad to be invited back to tonight's special program, which is taking place during the worst disaster to hit Walt Disney World. Well, second worst disaster next to WDWNT the weekend, 2010. That weekend resulted in more staff walk-offs than the great Amazon strike of 2020. I've been listening to the show since 2007. I used to listen to it on an iPod while living in Chicago. Miserable train commutes were made better by the dulcet tones of the still Bronx-accented Tom, arguing about theme parks with Jason Diffendahl, Justin Hammond, and a bunch of other nobodies who have since been Thanos snapped away. All I see now on Twitter is people complaining that Tom and WDWNT are too negative. Too negative? My main complaint about Tom was that he was always too positive. Any mediocre and mundane thing that happened at WDW was the greatest innovation in theme park history. I still remember him waxing poetic about how amazing Toy Story Midway Mania was. I guess that makes Tom lucky in quarantine. As long as he has his Nintendo Wii and office chair handy, his Midway Mania will never end. So here's my midpoint intermission where I'm just going to ramble off the punchlines to a few inside jokes that no one but Tom will likely get. I don't really care. Coconut M&M. Ambient. Otter. Chocolate coin. Coke. Diet Coke. Sprite. Fanta. Men in Black 3 is the greatest movie ever made. Mr. Toad was an astronaut. The Knee Game. Rock and roll, Norby. Santa. Amity means friendship. I like turkey. Taco Bell wrapper pillow. Want some? Take it away, Beer Frog. All right, thank you. I first met Tom in 2009 at a WDWNT meetup at the Canada Pavilion in Epcot. Funny how history repeats itself. I first met Tom in a fake Canada, and now he has a fake Canadian girlfriend. The day that I first met Tom, he was with former podcast member Matt Hall. My wife spent the better part of a year thinking Tom was Matt's dad, and that was 11 years ago. You look old, Tom. When I met Tom, he could drive. He couldn't drive anything but an Autotopia car. I used to drive his vacation gas around Orlando in the pre-Uber days. Yes, even back then, he would use a shared ride vehicle. Tom also didn't drink for several years I knew him. He actually put out a special notice prior to WDWNT stating it must be a dry event. Oh, as anyone who spent any time around Tom in full event diva mode will tell you, you need to have a few shots to keep this thing sane. As Crystal Straps and I can tell you, the fifth of tequila we consumed in an afternoon was much needed.
Another round.
Thinking, you know what? Let's pour one out for the DLNT cast that got canned minutes after the first Thanksgiving marathon show. Who's going to read full menus line by line now? Oh boy. You know, I've made a lot of jokes tonight and always give Tom a good bit when I see him. But to be honest, and from the bottom of my heart, I love you, Tom. Help me connect with a group of like-minded people early in my Florida life. You've been family for over a decade, a pal, a travel companion, an uncle to my kids, and you blacked out drunk more than a few times on my floor. I'm proud to know you. I'm very proud of the successful platform you've continued to build. Here's to Tom Corless. Good night, sweet prince.
Oh, it's a bunch.
We have a bunch more super
I have a ton.
chats.
Yeah, you have a bunch. All right, you go.
Okay.
Can you tell? Can you tell me which ones I'm missing?
Why don't I just read them all?
All right, but I want to talk about Rick's.
I want a host.
You want to talk about Rick's? I don't
Yeah.
even see.
I'll talk about Rick's. You can talk about the rest.
I want a tuxedo.
Okay,
I want a host.
Mike Fangman donated $1.99.
Stop.
John donated $5 just so I could get something that isn't Natterday.
By the way, it just looks like I'm 3 feet tall and standing next to Colin.
Which is the way it should be.
Exactly.
How does it feel to be Jess?
Super Bowl champions donated $2. Amy Lockman $10. Silicon Dave $7. Amina donated another $5. Mike donated another $4.99. Andrea Ross donated $2 for the cause of getting Tom more shirts. James April donated $2. Patrick Gaffney $2. Tyler Rumble $1.99.
And we had another mega super amazing super chat. Big shout out to Rick. I think Godfrey. Was it Godfrey?
Yeah, Rick Godfrey.
Yeah, Rick Godfrey. Look at that for memory. I remember you, Rick. Thank you so much for that amazing donation of $99. I really appreciate that. Also saw in the chat people say I look dapper and I'd appreciate it. Although someone said I'm in a 3-piece suit, which is false. This is a tuxedo. Let's get it right. Hold on.
Wow.
Come on, look at this shirt. Look at this shirt.
Oh my God, it's even redder up close.
Come on. Look at the cufflinks. Look at the cufflinks. Come on. You think I'm wearing a 3-piece? This is a tuxedo. All right, let's get back to work here. We're getting back to work.
Those buttons
Coming
are
up next,
struggling.
you guys might want to be careful what you say, because coming up next is our HR department.
Oh no.
Yep. Jill Diffendahl is in charge of our HR department, which means whenever Tom fires someone, she has to come up with a reason for just because.
Everyone's laughing a little too hard at that one.
I have more jokes for Jill, but since she's the HR department, I'm going to let her take it away. Ladies and gentlemen, Jill Diffendahl.
Good evening, everyone. So, as Pete mentioned, I am the HR director here at WDWNT. So when I found out about this roast, I thought, you know what? We're going to be throwing around a lot of insults. Somebody might get a little upset and come and complain to me. So maybe I should do a little research on hostile work environments just so I'm prepared. And about 5 minutes into doing my research, I realized, oh, wait, WDWNT already is a hostile work environment. And since we're talking about hostility at work, I have quite an illustrious panel of fellow and former WDWNTers up here on the dais with me. I kind of look at you in 3 different groups. There's the people I'd like to hang out and go drinking with. There's those of you that I've never met before, and then there's most of you. I want to thank our host tonight, Pete Carney. If you've ever met Pete in person, Pete's a great guy, and you know that he is the master of talking people into things. I was there when he scored dozens of free Mickey ice cream bars at the end of an after-hours event. I was there when he got an entire bus full of people to sing Happy Birthday to Walt Disney on the way back from Hoop-de-Doo. Pete, I hope those skills don't fail you when you need to talk your way out of some actual serious legal trouble, which I think we all know is just a matter of time. Speaking of legal trouble, Ron Deanna is here, everybody. Many of you know that Ron used to be a cast member at the Haunted Mansion, and today he's a lawyer. Ron, I'm glad to see you've put your expertise in being ghoulish to continued good use. Nick Lasisco is here with us tonight, everybody. Thank you, Nick, for giving me one more reason I'm glad I never had kids. When we were planning this roast, it turned out that a lot of the jokes all of us wrote about Nick were about how he preferred younger women. So, Nick, the good news is that apparently you only have one real flaw, but the bad news is that flaw is a felony. Jessica Figueroa is our wonderful editor-in-chief. I've decided I'm not going to make fun of Jessica tonight because I think she's probably having a hard enough time up here tonight as it is. I was there for the pickle incident on News Tonight, so I've seen what happens when you try to be funny. Patrick Hackett is here with us tonight. Patrick is actually, I'm not really sure what it is that Patrick does here again, but you know what? Never mind. If I figured out what everyone does around here, I'd be an effective HR director, which clearly I'm not since you all still work here. At least for now. Tomorrow's probably going to be a different story. Eric Morton is a newcomer to the WDWNT staff. I would tell some jokes about Eric, but I've already told some jokes about Pete, and I kind of think that's the same thing. Besides, we all know the only reason Eric is here tonight is because Butters wasn't available. And now for the man we're all here to talk about, the devil, or as you all refer to him, Tom Corless. You may think that calling him the devil is unfair, but did you know that Cor is actually French for heart, which means that Tom's last name literally translates to heartless? Well, at least I finally figured out why I went to Catholic school for the last 16 years, because one day I would be called upon to roast the devil. Actually, I'm convinced that the only reason Tom asked me to do this roast is because I flamed him so bad about the Matterhorn during March Madness. Look, I need to set the record straight. The bracket clearly said Matterhorn. It did not say Swiss Pavilion. Now, normally I'd let something like that slide, but Tom never lets mistakes slide. I watched him literally nearly blow his top when people add an extra S to a name, like Mouse Gears or Flights of Passage. So no, I'm not going to accept that the Matterhorn, in fact, includes the entire Swiss Pavilion. Swiss has 3 extra S's in it. Really though, Tom and I only disagree on 2 things: how he treats Jason and how he treats everybody else. Everybody here at WDWNT knows that Jason does everything around here. Well, everybody knows that except Tom. Meanwhile, no one really knows what Tom does around here. Tom must be busy though, because he needed to hire an assistant, Colleen. Fans of WDWNT probably know Colleen best as the bee on WDW News Tonight, but staffers know her as the only person who can help the rest of us get anything done. With Colleen here, it's so much easier to communicate with Tom. This is how a typical conversation used to go with Tom before Colleen started working here. Hey Tom, which of these 2 do you like best? The good one. Hey Tom, are those enough pictures of the Tron construction? Yes. So Colleen's job is basically to translate Tom's unintelligible responses into actual language, which kind of makes Colleen the Jane Goodall of WWNT. If you don't know who Jane Goodall is, look it up, kids. Actually, I want to thank the Parks blog for tweeting a video of Jane Goodall today and making this joke actually relevant. But seriously, folks, for all I joke, Tom really does have a heart. My favorite memories of Tom are from Pleasure Beach during the Adventurers Club reunion, and at Reflections of Forever when Kelly Coffey was singing We Go On with Gavin Greenaway playing piano. Both times I caught Tom with this look of just pure happiness on his face at not only what he had been able to create, but the fact that he was able to share it with all of us. Tom, you might be the devil, but I'm glad to call you my friend. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for bringing us all together in this dysfunctional family. Cheers.
Wow, well done by Jill Dippendahl, the sister of the beard.
She skipped her brother.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Well, she left out Jason because I feel like she
you for
fucking
making fun
gave
of
enough to
Jason.
Jason, I don't know, every single Thursday. I have some Jason jokes, but we're saving them. Jason's going to be on later tonight. Coming up
not.
next,
He's asleep already.
Oh, we have alarms
my bedtime,
set. We have alarms set. He has people around him that can wake him up. I have some call-in and write-in jokes, but I kind of want to get to our next roaster first, and I'm going to come back to him. People have taken shots at this guy all night, but I am a huge fan of this person. Of course, I'm talking about Nick Cicero. Nick Cicero, he's one of the nicest guys. He's my partner in crime for Liquid Magic. He's got that, silver and black, or what do you call it?
Pepper? Salt and pepper?
Yeah, salt and pepper look. He's a handsome gent. I mean, he's sweet. I don't want to even roast him. You know, he's a shoulder to lean on. He's a van to sleep in, and he's a guy he'll give you the glasses right up his head in a wave pool. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nick Cicero.
Oh, there's that purple shirt.
Doing magic.
Thanks, Pete. Appreciate those kind words. Pete, I have to be honest with you. I could not stand you. I could not stand Pete when I first met him. He's super loud, insanely obnoxious, always trying to get me to go to Jelly Rolls. Jason Diffendahl is here tonight. Jason, I kind of gravitated to you when I got here. I learned so much from you in my time here. Look, he's a guy who knows how to constantly screw everything up, get on Tom's nerves every single day, and yet still stay employed. Man, it's so good. I got a great tip for the rest of the staff here. Make sure Jason is involved in everything you do, because when things go wrong, Tom never questions when I blame Jason. He just goes with it. Great. I was surprised to find out tonight that WDWNT has an HR department. I'm really sorry, Jill. I don't know how you fell into that one. But I want to know, seriously, what do you actually do? Because there's no chance in hell Tom would still have people employed under him if you actually did your job. So I have no clue what you're doing. I mean, I'm good at faking my work day, but I think I'm maybe learning from the wrong Diffendahl. I'll have to pick up some pointers from Jill. I was also really surprised when I found out tonight that Jason and Jill were brother and sister. I don't really fraternize with the rest of the staff too much. They know that. I don't really talk to them. Speaking of people I don't know very well, hi Eric. What the hell are you even doing here? Look, I know I don't know many people on staff, and I don't even know your last name. Were you hired like 3 days ago, I think? I don't know.
Yeah, 4.
Look, I hate people like Eric. He's one of those guys. You all know him, all right? He's super funny. Everybody loves to hear from him. He waits to deliver the funniest jokes with perfect timing. I'm glad I'm nothing like that. Jessica, thank you for being the only person shorter than me here on staff. Most of the jokes tonight probably going to go right over her head. Not because she's short, but because, look, she took the job of editor-in-chief of WDWNT. She kept that job. That must say something about her intellect. I'm just saying.
Help me.
I mean, have you ever read the site? Have you ever read WDWNT.com? Look, the content isn't so bad. I really enjoy the 30 or so ads that cover up the articles I'm trying to read, and the comment section is usually amusing. Tom built WDWNT from nothing. You got to give him a lot of credit there. It's really, really quite impressive. Who knew you could make a fortune by tricking people to click on unfounded rumors and cupcake reviews? Come on. Tom and I first met when a lot of people know this story. I contacted him about putting his podcast on the radio. I thought he had the best produced, most informative, laugh out loud funny podcast in the Disney community. I was super excited to meet him. I remember that day vividly at Hollywood Studios. To this day, I didn't have the heart to tell him I accidentally confused him with Lou Mangello. You may be thinking, how the hell do you do that? How do you do that? One's a no talent, arrogant New Yorker with a gigantic ego. The other's Lou Mangello.
Lou Mangello's one more fun.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, look, Tom's ego isn't that big, is it? It's not like it's his head is the part of him that keeps growing. You know, he's on that theme park diet, which consists of your main food groups, festival foods, cupcakes, and bread service. if he keeps up this diet, the good news is if he keeps up this diet, he won't have to bother requesting to have ride vehicles to himself anymore.
No.
Do you ever think about how many rare Disney park t-shirts Tom owns that we'll never see because he always wears those damn button-downs over them? You would think someone with so much clickbait money could afford adult clothing. Seriously, what's up with the checkered shirt? I mean, it's a choice. It's a choice. I don't get it. I never got it. I do know the Disney food blog used to accidentally put all their food on Tom's back to take photos, thinking it was a picnic table. Look, Tom didn't mind. Tom didn't care. The food blog never actually eats their food, so that's how Tom would afford to eat before he learned to put breaking rumor confirmed in every title article. Have you guys ever walked around the theme parks with Tom in his little posse? It's super awkward. I have to say, it's super awkward. Everybody is staring at you, and you don't know if it's because of his loud shirts or because he tweeted something mean about him. I mean, it's nice having the added attention. I mean, but I just don't know if it's fans, enemies, or Disney security.
All of them.
People ask me this all the time. They ask me, is Tom as mean as he seems that he is online? And I respond, no, not at all. Not to his friends. Too bad those are more rare than a Tom tweet that doesn't ridicule his peers. Now, Tom's laughing over there. Tom's thinking right now, he's like, I don't have peers. No one touches me. I saved the bears. Yeah, he won't let us forget that one. Call me when the Tower of Terror bar opens, or I could visit Lord of the Rings land. In all fairness, Tom does have a soft spot for broken down old things that are past their prime. That's why Jason and I are still employed here.
I gotta cross that joke off now.
Lots of people have come and gone in my years at WDWNT. Remember Scarlett? Tom actually asked her to marry him in a radio studio. It was on a condition only after we raised a record amount of money for Toys for Tots. Note to Tom's girlfriend out there, no good deed goes unpunished.
You hang in there. That was good.
Tom says Tom says his current girlfriend lives in Canada. That's too easy. Tom makes fun of the age of the women I date all the time.
You skipped one in the middle.
I don't know. You date
Don't step on his joke. Don't step on his joke. Nick, reset. Hold on. Reset while Tom, always, interrupts and steps all over us.
Tom makes fun of the age of the women I date all the time. Look, you date one of his exes who's not legally allowed to vote yet or drink alcohol, and it brands a person for life. Come on. We've been through a lot, though, Tom and I. I think we have a pretty good friendship. We work really well together. I make mistakes. Tom makes fun of me. Look, I have my faults, and I know it. And Tom is not afraid to point them out every single chance that he gets. Tom and I have a lot in common. We both spend way too much money on theme park crap that we don't need. Ever see Tom's collection? But there are rules. If you go to check out the stuff, there are rules. Look but don't touch. Wear gloves. Stay 6 feet away. Sound familiar? No, not me at the Disney water park. No.
Oh my god.
I'll wrap this up tonight with a quote about leadership from the great Ronald Reagan, who always watches over News Tonight from the very beginning. He once said, the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things. I can see Tom taking a sigh of relief there. Yep. He is the one who gets people to do the greatest things. Tom does get people to do great things. The proof is on the ass of that bear inside Splash Mountain. The proof is in the food review with photos from 17 different angles. The proof is in that bank account that grows every time you click on an article just to argue that Tom is wrong. Tom said, I want to launch a blog. Then he built the biggest one in the community. Tom said, I want to launch a podcast, and it became an entire broadcast network. Tom said, I want a production studio, and we built it. And then we broke it, and then we built it, and then we broke it, and then we built it again. Tom said, I want a tail on that bear, and damn it, a tail got put on that bear's ass. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nick LaCicero. Wow. What a performance. My other half in Liquid Magic, I'm proud of him. Did a great job. You know, Tom is always complaining about Disney cutting entertainment costs, yet he keeps me and Nick around. So, I mean, what does it have to say about Tom's taste in entertainment? I got to hit some super chats. First of all, right out of the gate, $50 super chat. Another one from Must Be Joking, a constant contributor to a lot of our shows. So thank you so much, Joe. And please become friends with me and not Tom.
Pete, you gotta read what Must Be Joking said.
Oh, go ahead. You can read it. Go ahead.
He said in his $50 donation, I may be new to this group, but after hearing all the hilarious jokes tonight, it makes me think Tom writes the monologues on WDWNT tonight.
Wow. Must Be Joking is hitting the nail on the head. Well done.
How offended is Eric Morton right now?
Wow. No, that is a great joke.
What am I looking at?
Are we looking at
Is that
Billie
Luke
Eilish?
Manning?
Who was that? It looks like Billie Eilish.
Get out of here with Luke Manning.
No, Luke Manning. Oh, we're getting rid of Luke Manning.
We also have a donation from David Smith.
I was gonna say,
77.
yeah, David Smith donated. Our own David Smith, who works here, donated $7.
I mean, there's a lot of David Smiths.
And no, it's the one who works here, I believe. And I mean, this should probably get more credit. Donated his entire year's salary, $7.77 to this show tonight. Thank you so much, David, for lowering 1 year's salary as a donation. It's very kind of you. And of course,
I think I really don't pay people.
And Mike also donated as well. I saw that in the super chat. Any other super chats I missed before we keep going?
Armina donated $10, and Mike's donation was #Save the Map Game.
Nope.
Okay.
Next week we're gonna roast the map game.
That would be, well, we might say that for the marathon show. We need more time to roast the map game. All right. Well, I think it's time to move on. Also, I do want to thank Jill again. Thank you so much, Jill. Although you putting her in charge of HR probably has been the most problems put on a redhead since Ursula. That was a lot of work you put on, Jill. Does that joke not play? Well, I don't know. I'm going off script. Well, luckily, there's a very funny man behind me because I'm not. Coming up next is another old school guide. Tom loves the old school guides. We'll help them build to this beautiful, what would you call this group around you now? Misfits? I don't even know. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Anthony Yaculo? Yaculo.
It's good as host to learn the names of the people on the show.
Anthony, are you cool?
Thanks, Pete. Much like everyone else on the staff, I'm using alcohol to deal with my problems.
Welcome.
It's been great. It's great to be back working with Jason. Hello, Jason, or should I say, hello? You know, Jason and I both had beards before it was cool, only his is way more epic. To be simply called the Beard. Chris, it's great to see you. It's been a long time. You're like the Olympics. We see you just about every 4 and I'm pretty disappointed.
Wow.
Brandon, welcome to the Bald-Headed Bearded Club. Welcome to your 30s, my friend. How's the back pain? Nick LaCicero, how you doing tonight?
Great.
You've been a resident chef since joining the team several years ago. At least someone on the site can cook something other than mac and cheese and chicken nuggets for dinner. How many years have you been with us, Nick?
7.
4 or 5? Oh, wow, 7. The site just celebrated its 12th anniversary last year. Just think, Nick, in about 6 more years, you can actually date it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that marathon training came from running from Chris Hansen. My good friend Patrick Hackett is here. How the hell have you been, my friend?
Good.
Patrick just became a father within the last year or so, proving that male WDWNT staff actually know the loving touch of a woman.
Woo!
You know, Patrick is the whole reason that Whiny isn't around anymore. Patrick got a little carried away at the 10th anniversary celebration. Well, you can imagine what happens when someone gets a hold a life-size bottle of wine. That'd be one hell of a hangover, Patrick. It was good to see the good old mayor that came in here. Man, I lost track of my jokes.
It happens. Pete knows.
I've
I've stepped on 7 jokes tonight.
It was great to see you, Justin. How hard must it have been for Tom to find 2 bald bearded IT guys from New Jersey with the same birthday?
Yeah.
The man of the hour, Tom Corless. The only thing more hated on Diz Twitter right now than COVID-19. To say Tom is hated in the Disney Online community is an understatement. It's like saying Scott's a fan of Transformers or Power Rangers. Actually, Tom, I don't know if you know this, but this is not an intervention tonight. This is not a roast, it's an intervention tonight. We're here to tell you, stop wearing those ridiculous shirts. In early 2009, Tom put out a casting call on Twitter for people for the podcast. At the same time, he chose Scott Smith and myself to join, or as he likes to call it, hey, you two that do the voices. If there's some stupid one-joke character that needs a voice, we're his men. I'd like to get a little serious for a moment. I feel like Tom is painted like the Grinch of the online community. But if I get serious for a moment, my mom got sick with an E. coli infection in mid-2015. And forever changed her life and had her in and out of hospitals for the better part of 2 years, which is when I took a large step back from the podcast and network in general, pretty much as a whole, except for random appearances here and there. In 2017, in the summer, in the span of just about 2 months, I went through a divorce and my mother passed away. Tom checked on me constantly to make sure it was okay and to see if I need anything. And even since then, whenever he knows I'm going through something or hears, I get a text from him or a call or a message. Friends I've known for years don't even do that. I'm telling you this because despite all the jokes and everything we make, there's a person that really cares about his staff and those around him underneath it all, despite, you know, his exterior. So Tom, thank you for everything. I know you like to keep that persona, the mean persona that you have, but behind it all is a caring, cuddly Duffy bear that spent as much as the gross domestic product of a small nation on Disney collectibles. Hashtag Chris joke. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Well done. Well said. That's Mr. Anthony Aculo. Very nice. I put him there because I felt like I loved your story at the end, and we'll say nice things about Tom at the end. But while we're here, no, I have nothing. It's time again to check in with our favorite blue cat, Mr. Tully. Mr. Tully, we heard any good jokes? I only want your top 5 jokes, and that is it. So, Mr. Tully, are you ready?
Yes. I mean, there's been a lot of super chats, but they're not writing any jokes with them. I guess nobody with money is funny, which is why everyone roasting tonight is hilarious. Anyway, so this one comes from I don't know. That was money. I don't know what I was doing with my arm there.
No, that was good. That was good.
Okay, so Jillian, as you wish, says Tom is a Canadian girlfriend. Is that who Tyler Mann is? I think this Tyler is that he's dating.
Apparently, someone
let's
doesn't know the
see.
definition of
We
side
got
piece.
Wow. We got Darren Greer who says, 1917 wasn't a movie about WW1, World War I. It's about the amount of money that Tom pays his workers per month. Okay, moving on, we got Justin Storm, who says...
12-year salary for me.
I don't get paid.
Split amongst all of us.
Tip the monsters at the laugh floor. Throw money at them next time. Okay. Justin Storm says, what's more likely to start on time? WDW News Tonight or Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure?
Boy.
Okay. Two more. So this one, oh no, I don't like this. Courtney Brunch says, Tully the cat, hello, must be created by Tyler because he always wanted to be a furry, but joke's on them. I'm not drawn nearly as naked as his other characters. And lastly, These Amazing Places says, all the men who formerly worked for Tom are bald because they pulled their hair out. Okay, and since that's it for me tonight, I just want to thank Tom for running into me at that hotel lobby and giving a furry like me a chance to design 200 new show logos each week that nobody really cares about. So thank you very much.
Well done to Tully the cat, and I didn't know that you met Tully the cat in the weird hotel lobby in the middle of nowhere.
Had the goddamn bee on.
No, that's a great story. Obviously, that happened in Canada.
I'm
which is
warming up
fine.
to the bee now.
You never know what's going to happen on the roast. And I just got some emails from a WIGS member, so I feel like we should throw some of these in the mix. If you don't know what WIGS is, let me take this time to tell you real quick. WIGS is the WDWNT Inner Globe Society. And what you get is you go to patreon.com/WDWNT, and for as little as $2 a month, you get to be part of our post shows, you get exclusive content, you get discounts on events, and you get to become a part of our family, and we love you so much. And you really do grow, and I've become very close friends with a lot of our WIGS members. That being said, if you like that, that was good. I got an email from a WIGS member, and it's time for this WIGS member to have their jokes read. So, Courtney already had a joke, but Courtney had a few more good ones, so I feel like we should hear these as well. I'm going to pick, we got 4. I'm going to pick my top 2. This is a good one. Tom really loved the Great Movie Ride. No one knows this, but his favorite scene was Oz. He loved it so much because the only time anyone ever called him pretty. Ooh. Burn. You feel that? Yeah, that's right. Next up, everyone says Tom's grumpy or mean, but Tom's a really nice guy. Just X the homeless guy giving him his $1 haircuts on OBT. Wow. Cue the music. Love that joke. That's fantastic.
You think Nick actually has music ready?
Nick has all the music ready because I'm the vamp god, and Nick is working tirelessly to get that OBT music ready before midnight.
He's not even. No, there he is.
It was there. It was just.
I trust in my partner. I can't see him. He's not in the room, but I trust. You know, this is a new thing for you, Tom. It's called trust. And we're your staff. You should trust us. With that being said, we're going to take a quick commercial break, maybe an intervention, and hug it out here in the studio. Stick around because we have... Wait a minute. I thought we had only one roaster left. We have a surprise roaster. There's 2 more roasters left, and then Tom claps back at everybody.
Claps back.
Oh, he's coming back hard. So stick around. 2 more roasters and Tom's revenge after the break.
He's gotten a lot of clap back. Are you saying I have a lot of sex? Take me away. Still on skirt.
Oh, hello there. You know, sometimes WDWNT releases leaked concept art from the Disney company, showcasing what Imagineering hopes to do in the future. But some readers have accused us of actually faking these pictures ourselves. Well, gosh, we're sure flattered you think we're that talented, and it got us thinking, why shouldn't we all be able to produce quality concept art? Join us as we start with a blank canvas and use our imaginations to create the rides and lands we'd love to see.
Yes, new from WDWNT, the joy of concept art painting with Tom Corless. Join Tom as he offers tips and tricks on making your dreams come alive, one brush stroke at a time.
Now, if you just make a line like this across, you've got all this space to get crazy. I'm going to go ahead and put in a few happy churro carts over here and one over here.
Follow along at home and not only paint beautiful landscapes and rides, but learn how concept art is taken to the next corporate level.
Now right here we've got a wonderful complex building, but I'm afraid old Mr. Chapek is gonna beat the devil out of that budget. So now we have to get a little go away green on your brush here and paint a large box on top of what you just done. Now that's a structure Disney will pay for. Plus it does a wonderful job ruining the sightlines, a real win-win.
Join Tom as he teaches the proper technique in making modern Disney attractions.
You've painted a wonderful ride here that provides a fresh and original story. Now all we have to do is ask ourselves is how can we add Marvel to it?
Yes, even you can paint concept art that will look nothing like the reality that will one day come to pass. Pick up the Joy of Concept Art Painting Kit at your local hobby shop and receive Tom's free instructional manual on proper decal design.
All right, you want that little decal to look like it's already peeling off the wall the moment you put it on. That's the real key here.
The Joy of Concept Art Painting with Tom Corless, available to stream everywhere except Tokyo.
From all of us here, I'd like to wish you happy concept art and Walt bless, my friend.
We all know that planning a trip to Walt Disney World can be tough work. I mean, how do you even book a fast pass? And what's a dining plan anyway? Well, why not let the most magical theme park character help you along the way? Presenting Cornac, your one-stop app for Disney planning. WDWNT's Cornac is a revolutionary new digital experience that actually predicts and modifies your vacation for you. All you have to do is pair Cornac with your Magic Band and bank account, and presto! Cornac will save you from hundreds of poor choices. Did you plan to eat at Tony's Town Square at the Magic Kingdom? Well, Cornac will cancel that reservation, give it a 1-star Yelp review, and text the waitstaff to dump your food in the trash where it belongs. Why? Because Cornac knows what's best. Not sure what to do with your day at Hollywood Studios? Cornac will automatically set up your itinerary and you'll get exclusive experiences, such as crying a single tear for the Great Movie Ride, or a fan favorite, loudly complaining about how the Backlot Express has no real props anymore. And while you're having all this fun, Cornac will automatically send negative tweets about the whole experience for you. Why let other apps steal your personal data and lead you in the wrong direction when Cornac can do all of that and more?
My family and I had no idea what we were missing until Cornac planned our trip for us. Now, we're chained to the Mary Blair mural at the Contemporary, and we're fighting off the Incredibles. What a unique experience. Thanks, Cornac.
So when it comes to having fun, trust the man with the big gold turban. Isn't that right, Cornac?
A rather enjoyable time that only gets you occasionally arrested. What is the product of using WDWNT's Cornac app?
That's right, Cornac. Available on the dark web today.
We've got 3 more
that was a hard
super chats.
Let's cut to Colleen for the super chat.
Armina donated $10. Mary Delaney, $5. Matthew Kent, $4.99. Thank you guys so much for all of your donations. Don't stop.
Believe in.
Wow. We have generated a ton of super chats tonight, and the show is not over yet. We have 2 more roasters, as I mentioned. So I think it's time to get to the surprise roaster. Tom, are you a little nervous? I know you asked me during the commercial break. Who is it? Can you tell me?
You're supposed to go over shows that are coming up next.
I'm going to do that.
Okay. Just say
So, Tom, since you asked me so many times who the next surprise roaster is, I'm going to keep you waiting a little bit longer because it's time to plug. Besides shows like tonight, we have shows twice a day, every single day during this entire coronavirus epidemic. And let's go to the graphic because I need to run down everything we have coming up. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., the Animal Kingdom watch-alongs. You don't want to miss it. Tomorrow is Earth Day. Animal Kingdom opened on Earth Day 21 years ago, right? Or was last year 20th or 2 years ago?
No, it's 22 this year.
Yeah, 22 this year. Wow, goes fast. That was the first time I met Tom Corless in person. Was that
22 years ago?
It was not 22 years ago. It was at the 20th. So 2 years ago, I met you in person for the first time. I worked for you before I met you in person. Weird. Anyway, tomorrow night, Park Center. Wow, you get 5 of probably the greatest staff members in history telling you about the news, and it's Tom free, so you definitely want to watch. Thursday morning at 11 a.m., you get Party with Pete. I would tune in. You never know what's going to happen. It is out of control. It's a ton of fun, and it's a wild and crazy, slightly handsome, red-faced man making sure you have a good time. At 9 p.m., you get WDW News Tonight, our flagship program, the show that put us on the map. It's hilarious. You get the monologue. You get segments. You don't know what you're going to get each week, which is why.
Tell people weeks in advance. You don't
know. Well, exactly. I can see the schedule, and you don't know each week.
Just keep going. It's 12:06.
All right, fine. Here we go. April 24th, 11 a.m. The Wolf Den, 9 p.m. 20th athletes of the Sea Watch Along Saturday 20th, 11 a.m. Locked with Eric Morton, 9 p.m. Whose low Q is it anyway? Thanks for watching. Tune in, take a screenshot of that. Make sure you watch. Or just rewind it 10 seconds when you're rewatching this later on tonight. Listen, we have a very special guest before we get to Jason, and Jason is our closer tonight before Tom gets back at all of us. But before Jason, we have a very special person about to join us. Tom, I'd say this person is someone who probably knows you pretty well. This person knows the really happy moments, the really sad moments, the moments of anger, the moments of complete elation. Do you have any guesses on who this person is?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, the room is buzzing, waiting for this next person. It is the bee herself. Miss Kylie Seiler, everybody. Kylie Seiler.
Colleen. Go ahead.
I was combining your two names.
Right?
Colleen.
Nick, we lost the Tom box.
I know. I'm trying to find Jason. Do you see it? If you can see it.
Blame Jason.
Jason, what did you do?
Why has this been allowed? I don't have Colleen jokes. This is unfair.
But that's why it works
Where
out
did it
so
go?
well.
No.
Because
I'm going to write them now. You can get off that easy. I'm just going to write them now.
So Tom didn't ask me to be on the roast.
Nope.
He said that every day with me is a roast. But
Yep.
unlike Tom, I actually show up on time. Tom likes to complain about News Tonight starting late, and granted, Nick and Nathan are idiots. But it's like because we start every live show late because Tom shows up at start time. He always has a reason, like Jessica's having a breakdown, his neighborhood's gate won't let him out, he's a selfish sociopath. Last week he told me he'd be in between 6 and 7, and I said, so I'll see you at 7:30. And he told me to shut up and go sit down, so he showed up at 7:36. And tonight he told me he'd be here at 8.
Oh, that's this one's fault.
No reason to blame
I'm not
Ronald
done.
Reagan.
He said he'd be here at 8, and then he got here at 8:30. And honestly, I'm so proud.
I was at Pete's place at 8
That's still
Yeah,
late.
but you didn't get out of the
because
shower
Pete's
till
place
8:10.
At 8 o'clock is not here. At
I didn't say be here at 8 on the dot. That's incorrect.
Said he'd be here at 8.
Well, I think I feel my first furlough coming on.
That was Tyler.
We'll get to that later. You've heard about Tom's imaginary girlfriend from Canada. When I met her, I said to Tom, she's so nice and pretty. Why is she with you? To which he replied, he's nice and pretty in his way. So now I understand it. She's delusional. I've heard that almost everyone on staff is an idiot, and they should be fired. That's not really a joke, it's just true. Sometimes Tom will test out News Tonight jokes on me. When I don't laugh, he'll start to explain them, and then I have to explain, just because I didn't laugh doesn't mean I don't get it. And even when I do laugh, it's because I pity you and your delusion that you're funny.
From roast to therapy.
As we all know, Tom's favorite Disney movies is Cars, so his judgment is questionable.
Yeah.
I am famously a B.
Yeah, you are.
Tom texted me one morning and asked me, how fast could I get a bee costume here? At first I was like, ugh, he's gonna make me dress as a bee. And then Tom explained that the purpose of this character was gonna be that the bee makes fun of Tom, and we both knew that this was the perfect role for me. I'm supposed to make fun of other people here, but I don't know who most of you are, so you must not be that important.
Wow.
I do function as Jessica's therapist, since Tom calls and yells at her every day because someone wrote ticket and transportation center. She asked me the other day, is Tom becoming more unbearable by the day? I suggested we create a human resources department to deal with such concerns. Now, poor Jill is basically the complaints about Tom department. Of course, I regularly use that service. As I said, Tom is a sociopath. Or maybe that's just what happens when you grow up in the Bronx. Once, when Tom was plotting Nathan and Jason's murders, I suggested we feed their body to alligators. And Tom said, I'm from the Bronx. I know how to hide a body.
Wow.
I was hired to be Tom's executive assistant, and I thought, that's fine. I'm organized. Then I built a puppet theater. Included $6,000 of Cars merchandise. Picked up Happy Meals every day for a week. Managed the prize wall. I vacuumed the studio. I steam his shirts with bottled water. I built a duck translator and cut a pickle in half and glued it to a mirror. And now I run the WDW network television. Because what started as we're going to go live 5 days a week became we're going to go live twice a day, 7 days a week. But Tom can totally do this all himself. He doesn't need us. And starting tomorrow, he will be doing it all himself, I'm sure.
Yep.
Tom loves to threaten to fire me. He once fired me because I ate the last Oreo.
Welcome to the club.
But I know he never will fire me because I'm the only one who knows how to program the lock pad on the studio door. So when I leave, I'm deleting his code. Everyone likes me better than Tom. I always imagine that when the day comes and Tom and I have that final screaming match, which ends with me quitting or him firing me, and I'll dramatically storm out the door, he'll call Jason and be like, Colleen's gone. And Jason will say, what? What did you do? Get her back. But the biggest reason is that he thinks I'm wonderful, and he hopes that I stick around for a long time. True, he said that. Not to me, but everything he says to anyone I know. Everyone tells me yes. Thank you.
Wow, a great job by Colleen, our guest roaster tonight. There's the round of applause. Very nicely done. It is weird to have the last two people before Tom be the two people that actually run the company.
Wow.
Which means it's time for Jason Diffendahl. Jason, wow, what can you say about Jason? He's the Roy Disney of WDWNT. You know, he'll never get enough credit for everything he's done here. His counterpart gets all the credit for all the success and everything we've seen. And his grandchildren will grow up complaining about how bad the employees are treated here. So, ladies and gentlemen,
got one, Pete.
Mr. Jason Diffendahl.
Hey, howdy, hey, everybody. Hey, howdy, hey, Tom. How you doing?
Doing great.
All right. You know, so first off, let me just start out by saying at the end of this, Tom is going to roast all of us. He's going to get his revenge. So I'm not going to waste time roasting any of the other staff members here. I think Tom will probably handle that pretty well, and most people took all my ideas anyway. There was one person who was supposed to be here. That was Josh. Josh only has one name. His name's Josh. I don't know what his last name is. I don't think anyone else does. But unfortunately, couldn't make it tonight. That's sad because I really love Josh. I really do. He's the exact opposite of Tom. Josh thinks he's not funny when he really is. This roast is a historical achievement. What?
Keep going.
He's never up this late. Leave him alone.
This is way past my bedtime. This roast is a historical achievement. Tom is the first person in the history of comedy to host a roast for himself, making this perhaps more tragedy than comedy. You might be surprised. You might be surprised to learn that Tom doesn't really take kindly to being insulted or made fun of. So I was pretty sure when he first brought up the idea of the roast of Tom Corless that he was really pissed at his dad for some reason.
Oh my god.
And when Tom said that I was going to be on the dais for the roast, I thought this is going to be hard for me because I'm not really a comedy writer. Usually when I try to write jokes for the show, Tom shoots them down right away. Then I realized how hard can it be for me to come up with 5 minutes of material? Tom writes a 15-minute monologue every week that isn't funny. And when I asked Tom who else was going to be on the roast, he said he wanted some former WDWNT staff to join in. So I said, Tom, it's going to take me days to contact all the people that you fired from WDWNT and weeks to contact all those who were actually smart enough to quit on their own. I can remember 13 years ago, now we get into story time. 13 years ago, it was October 2007 when I first met Tom. We were at a pin trading event in New Jersey, and here was this teenager from the Bronx sitting in a back corner of the room all by himself doing a great job at social distancing. If you want to picture this scene, well, just look at Tom today. It was pretty much the same. Scruffy-looking buzz cut, ill-fitting shirt, you know. I've always said Tom's outfits were something you could accessorize with a conversion van and a public defender. So at that point in the story, I did something that little did I know at the time would change my life forever. I said hi. He introduced himself and said he was the owner of our Disney website, WDW News Today, and asked if I'd read it. I didn't really want to start off the conversation on the wrong foot and tell him the truth and say that I'd never actually heard of it. So instead I lied and I said, well, I've heard of it. Tom responded gleefully, now I can tell my mom that her advertising budget was well spent. After that pin trading event, he contacted me and asked if I wanted to be on his podcast. Not knowing what that all entailed, I said yes. After a few episodes of the podcast, he said he wanted to make a Christmas podcast episode. Yes, we were going to create a parade and broadcast it, a parade that no one could see. I thought that was a little bit odd, but, you know, it really fit right in with the podcast that no one listened to, the website that no one read, and the park videos on the internet that no one watched. So, perfect for Tom. Along with me, the other person who appeared on the podcast regularly was Justin Hyman, which you heard from earlier today. Justin worked in the IT department of local government in New Jersey. We started calling him Mayor because the only thing that Tom learned about government from the Main Street characters was that there had to be a mayor. Back in the early days of the podcast, Tom considered Lou Mongello his arch enemy. Why? Well, Lou had everything that Tom desperately wanted. Charisma, a wife, and a podcast that people listen to.
Oh, man.
When we go to the parks, Tom often thinks he's being followed by security. But I don't know why they would follow him in the parks. With shirts like his, they could spot him on aerial imagery. And the bigger question in my mind is not if they're following him, but what's their reason this time? Tom claims they follow him because they know who he is. I think it's more just like the security people are smart enough to be creeped out by his general appearance. In the early days... Thanks, Nick, for the delayed laughter, just like always. In the early days, Tom wanted to start up a... In the early days, Tom wanted to start up a Disneyland sister news site called Disneyland News Today. So we started looking for Disneyland locals who we would hire to run it. I figured we would get some smart person who'd been going to Disneyland for years and had some perspective on things. And you know, Tom is so great at finding talented people to work for WDWNT that we ended up with a 12-year-old British kid.
I like turkey.
Yep, that's Luke Manning. Speaking of former staff members, are we allowed to talk about Jose? Jose was a...
You're the one who went to the wedding.
Jose was a teenage outcast. Jose was a teenage outcast from Miami that conned Tom into believing that he knew how to run websites.
This isn't funny.
How
There's
many of
Jose.
these does Chris have printed?
It's not. I don't know. I've only seen 2, so I figured we'll get them in when we have the chance. So Jose, yeah, as you mentioned, Jose got married a couple months ago. Tom was supposed to be in the bridal party, but then as the story goes, he and Jose got into some kind of argument and Tom dropped out of the wedding. That's what always happens, so I didn't believe that story. The real story is that the bride's sister refused to be in the wedding party and dance with Tom. Tom often brags that he's visited every Disney park around the world. Though he's not the only person that has done that, he does have one achievement that no one of these other people has. He's the only person that has done so without actually setting foot in the city where the parks are located. He's never seen downtown Shanghai, Hong Kong, Paris even. Heck, I don't think he's ever seen downtown Orlando. At least not in the daytime.
Yeah.
Nick, that's the LBTQ. There we go.
You're killing.
All kidding aside, the one tip that I can give you that I learned from traveling with Tom is that you need to give him an hour and a half in the shower each morning. Why he needs 90 minutes in the shower, I don't know. There's no punchline here. I'm just going to leave it to your imagination. Many of you know Tom's first girlfriend, Scarlett. Scarlett was known for wearing circular, oversized sunglasses all the time. When she started dating Tom, I realized those weren't sunglasses, but eye patches, because she had to be blind to date Tom. Scarlett had 2 kids from a previous relationship. I came to the conclusion that Tom started dating her so that he didn't have to figure out for himself how to make kids. Tom met Scarlett at...
I don't like this!
There we go.
My face right now.
Tom met Scarlett at some Disney Parks event, and I figured meeting a mate at Disney made sense for someone who ran a Disney fan website. But unfortunately, their relationship didn't work out, so maybe I was wrong and it didn't make sense to look for a soulmate at Walt Disney World. Instead, Tom turned to the internet. No, not Match.com or eHarmony or anything like that. Nope, he turned to Twitter. Tom operates a great team here at WDWNT, and Tom himself is a real team player. He's a great leader, and he shares a lot with his staff. He threw a Christmas party for the staff this year. He shares his overseas trips with me. He shared a radio show with Nick. He shares his broken Disney collectibles with Colleen. Heck, Tom's so generous he even gave his old girlfriend to Nick.
I've been waiting all night for somebody.
Bad time for that sip. Whew.
Jesus.
But, you know, Tom's longest relationship with a female is his current girlfriend, the Canadian that shall not be named. Apparently, no matter how dumb you think American girls are, they're still too smart to date Tom. Last year, Tom and I went to Tokyo, Shanghai, and Hong Kong. This was supposed to be a dream trip for any Disney Parks fan. But no one ever dreams of being stuck in a hotel room in a foreign country with Tom Corless for a week and a half. That trip had some interesting things going on. Tom had booked all the hotels for the trip, so we flew from Shanghai to Hong Kong, and we landed at about 1 in the morning. Being the cheapskate that he is, he actually didn't book a hotel in Hong Kong for that first night. So we get to the hotel at like 3 in the morning, and I said, Tom, are you going to check in? And that's when I found out he didn't book a room. So he gloated he was going to use his charismatic style to get them to let us check in early at 3 a.m. And what do you know? 9 hours later, we were in our room.
That's not fair. Thank you.
As you may know, Tom is a bit obsessed with collecting stuff from the parks. He even collects food wrappers. And he has to make sure they're clean, no food stains or anything. So this is actually the secret behind his professed love for gyoza dogs. He eats them twice a day, but that's only because he keeps trying to get one with a clean wrapper. It got real bad when he wanted a pizza box from Pan Galactic Pizza Port in Tokyo Disneyland. You should have seen the confused cast members when he ordered a pizza to go, hold the pizza. In Hong Kong Disneyland, there's this area called Karabuni Marketplace where there are carnival games. And if you win all 4 games on the same day, you get a special pin. Of course, Tom had to have that pin. So we played for some time, and eventually I won all 4 games and got the pin. Tom got really annoyed at that point. He had only won 1 of the games by that time. But then I realized what the problem was. Carnival games, these were games of skill.
He's still bitter.
He's still bitter.
No,
but you know, Tom's been a real trooper. I feel really bad because he hasn't set foot in a Disney park for weeks. Honestly, I don't know where he gets his meals from nowadays. All kidding aside, Tom is great at motivating people. He's a proven leader. He could go on to do great things after WDWNT. A small dictatorial regime, a communist government. No, really, those are 3 different things. That's actually not true, though. WDWNT is such a collaborative organization. 1 man, 1 vote. Tom is the 1 man, and he gets the 1 vote.
Everyone's laughing way too hard at that one.
It's been so nice
I'd like to bring this
channel without Tom.
I'd like to bring this to a close tonight by saying that I don't think I could stand here without thanking Tom for his leadership over the past 13 years. I've never had a boss that so enthusiastically berates me with such gusto day in and day out. But really, folks, and now I'm off script, but really, folks, Tom has been a great friend for the past 13 years, and I consider him one of my best friends. I've traveled more with Tom to places than I have with some of my family members, and it's always been fun. I defend Tom on the internet to the best of my ability, even though he gets himself into some pretty bad jams. I can't help him too much dig out of those holes that he digs for himself. But anyway, this has been great fun. We've gone on for 2.5 hours making fun of Tom. I can't wait for what's going to happen next, but unfortunately it's past my bedtime, so I'm leaving. Anyway.
Aren't we all?
That all makes
everybody.
sense. Big round of applause for Mr. Jason Dippendahl, the non-face of the successful side of the company. Wow.
Can I read the last 3 super chats?
Of course. Let's cut over to Colleen.
Latin X Duchess donated $4.99. Amina donated $10 and said, "I'm amazing."
She is.
And Pat Mc75 donated $4.99 to the Queen Bee.
Oh, I love Pat. Pat and I are going to Jelly Rolls in September. Well, do we have any more time left, or do we have to end the show?
No.
Oh, wait, I have one more.
We're all going, right?
Okay.
Mike donated
Pete, we're all leaving?
$4.99.
We're done now,
told
yeah.
me to super chat.
There we go. Thank you so much. None of the staff here tonight will see that money, but thank you so much for your donations. It is time. I don't know how to introduce this.
Yeah, that matches the rest of the night so far.
God.
Marty, I'm
Oh,
scared.
you're all in for it now.
I'll say this. Tom and I did arrive together tonight. So Colleen was telling the truth that we were late. But it's not just me. Tom is late all the time. He makes me feel better about myself. I thought I ran late, but Tom runs late. You would think Tom was a Disney attraction based on how late he runs to open or show up. Yikes. All right, listen, I want to thank everyone who joined the roast tonight. You can thank all the roasters in the chat. Again, if you just joined us or you're watching this, please go ahead, send your comments in. You could also join the WIGS, WDWNT, the Inner Globe Society. You could also watch our programs. We're doing 2 shows a day, every single day, right here on WDWNT.com. Or you can watch us on YouTube, Periscope, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. Have you found a new way to watch? We'll do it. Let us know. Shoot us an email. But it is time for Mr. Tom Corless to address the rest of us. I want to thank everyone who did the roast tonight. I had the honor and pleasure of being a roast master. I got tons of emails for the last 2 weeks trying to put this together, making sure everything worked. I want to thank everyone for there was a few special requests. You guys should know about this. Like, we never used the name of Tom's girlfriend. And a lot of people thought that was Tom's request, but that was specifically her request. She did not want to be associated with Tom at all on a public basis.
Who can blame her?
She begged me, and I was like, okay, maybe.
I got complained at anyway. So
and then everyone was like, is she real? And I was like, maybe. And then she, especially with how, she moved so close to be a part of Tom's life that she moved to Canada just to make sure she was close enough to be a part with Tom. Tom, thanks for letting me be a part of this. Listen, I had a lot of fun tonight. My job is to make everyone else shine. I'm going to try to make you shine right now. We're out of time. All right, I'll give you this. I've been a part of the company for 2.5 years, and I was a fan before that. I'm very happy we became friends. I didn't realize this when I was buying my condo, that you would be my next door neighbor. And we get to hang out all the time. The studio's right around the block. We go to the parks together. I think we have a lot. I think we have a lot of laughs together. I think.
Let's see what happens after this.
Tom is a really good person. If you're also, I should say, if you're watching on Twitter, you can turn this part off. Tom's a really good person. Okay, you can turn it back on. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Corless.
Hi, everybody. Remember me? Thanks, Pete. Give it up for Pete Carney, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I guess Robert Downey Jr. from before Iron Man was busy. Ha ha! Pete had a lot of White Claws. Pete had a lot of White Claws tonight. I would dare say no one has smashed more claws than Pete Carney, except maybe Joe Exotic. Oh! Pete, you did a great job. You didn't drop the phone, whatever. In case you didn't know, Pete dropped his phone into Crescent Lake one night at Jelly Rolls. Yeah. Now his phone's at the bottom of the lake with his dignity. And Cat Cressita's career. Yikes. Oh. Imagine doing one voice in your career and thinking you've accomplished something.
I thought that joke was
Sorry, Anthony.
I thought that joke was standing up for me. What was that? I thought that joke was standing up for me, but now never mind.
Yeah, somewhat. A little bit of both. Yeah. Man, all of you said so many false and incorrect things that were poorly researched that I thought this was a Defunct Land episode. Yeah. And then some of you took it easy. You barely threw any shade like Toy Story Land. That's my dad joke.
That's a good joke.
My dad joke of the night. And you snuck Colleen in. Yeah. Oh, Colleen thought she's gonna. I would make up something else, but I think that beeline. I don't think I'm gonna top that, so I'm just gonna leave it at that probably.
I don't even remember that. I wasn't.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Everyone else heard it. It's fine. I've never met an executive assistant that has no idea what an executive assistant does, but gets offended. He made me make puppets. Meanwhile, Jessica's like, you don't want to know what my boss used to make me do. All of you seem to be mad that I'm the star, but you're the ones who started pumping out babies, taking up your free time, or in Nick's case, dating them. Why couldn't you all do something meaningful like save animatronic bears or free bread? Wasted your lives. You know, I honestly thought more of you were gonna make fun of my weight, but I'm gonna have to throw away all that material. None of you did. Yeah, I have weight problems on my shoulders from carrying all of you. Pete literally out of jelly rolls. That wasn't even on the sheet.
Thanks again. Yeah, no, that was improv.
There.
I like
Thank
it.
you. Yeah. Also, let's give it up. Let's give it up for Patrick Starr. I'm sorry, Jason Diffendahl. Diffendahl. It's okay. He's in bed already. He didn't hear it. It's fine. Man, Jason, that's some outfit. I love that you came tonight dressed as Grizzly Adams at a discotheque. That's fantastic.
Came dressed as Tom Corless.
Oh. Jason, man, I got to tell you though, that did not go as well as it looked on paper. You know, ask my employees. Jason's joke delivery is like when he does payroll. The timing is all off. Yeah. Jason had a lot of help from others on his roasting, like every other WDWNT task he's ever done. Also, his jokes weren't done until 10 minutes after we got on the air. Jessica got it. Thank you, Jessica. During March Madness, we know that Jason will only vote for things from Epcot until he simply decides otherwise. Yeah. Yeah. That's not even a joke. It's just what happened. Yeah.
It's a good joke.
You know, it's not like people that choose Epcot and then realize they were horribly wrong. That never happened. Yeah, picking Epcot as your favorite park now is like me picking a Diffendahl as my favorite staff member. It used to be good, but now it's all broken down. Okay. Yeah. Jason is dedicated to being an Epcot fanboy. His bald spot even looks just like the Innoventions buildings now. This beige patch of nothing.
Oh my god.
Jason now hosting a new show, Pressing Issues. I love Jason, but honestly, he's a little dry as host. You know, I would say it couldn't get any more boring, but the original show idea was Jason ironing his Epcot t-shirt. Oh, Jill Diffendahl. Jill Diffendahl. Welcome to Cougar Town. Population 50 and over Imagineers. Oh.
Wow. Yes.
More older fans think about Jill Diffendahl in private than Discovery Bay concept art at this point, I think. We have, that's right, we have 2 Diffendahls on staff. You know, 1 for 2, it's a good percentage in baseball. Take it. You know? I've heard 2 Diffendahls can do the job of 1 functional human being. Or 5 inside the magic writers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Jill and the entire gang on Park Center Oh, I am going to go there. Jill and the entire gang on Park Center ranted about how we made the wrong decisions during March Madness. No shit, I made the wrong decisions. Look at the women I've dated. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time until the secret Swiss bobsled training facility has a Twitter rant about what a horrible person I am and blocks me.
You're the devil.
The devil. Yeah, Joe and the rest went on. They went on and on about how I manipulated the panel to get what I want. It's called being successful, Jill. You should try it.
Oof.
I would be worried. I'd honestly be worried about the Park Center gang turning my audience against me on my own programming, but it's just Ben's family watching, so it's probably fine.
Second, Ben.
No. You know, Jill is not only in charge of human resources, she's also managing the wigs. Give your brother one. Jeez. Poor guy. I broke Jason now. Anthony Aculo's here. He survived. He survived the virus. His ex.
Oh, Jesus!
Anthony, can you get her to date the coronavirus so it'll just give up?
Oh, God!
Oh, my!
Jesus!
Anthony used to voice Whiny the giant talking bottle of wine. Still beats the stupid cat. But a lot of listeners ask what happened to Whiny, but with half of this dais being functional alcoholics, I couldn't even begin to narrow down who did it. Yeah, it's probably all people with kids. And Pete. Yeah, a lot of people said I yell. I yell a lot at my employees. I do yell at my employees. Have you seen these people? In the beginning, I did. That's right, Colleen. I did most of this myself. In order for me to be able to run this company and do all the shows we're doing, I had to hire 10 people to do my job. Yeah, and then still, who demands to keep a plush that we ask them to buy for photos? Who has a problem with the jokes I made? Who has a problem with something I said on Twitter? They think it's about them. Who's having car problems? Who doesn't want to make props for the show? And all of that's just Jessica. Jessica works 12 to 18 hours a day, though she's the hardest working person at WDWNT. 12 to 18 hours a day.
I quit.
All the hours that Jason doesn't. What did you say?
I think she quit.
Did she quit?
I'm gone.
Yeah, you're used to this happening at the end of events.
Jessica's a great writer, but sometimes she forgets who she's writing for as a Cuban living in Miami. I was reminded of this when she wrote that the Magic Happens theme song was the hottest hit since Gasolina. Look it up, kid.
It's my walkout song.
Slaps. Jessica's dream is to go to Japan, where everyone is her size. That's her dream.
Kawaii.
She could be the first American to fit in Monsters, Inc. Ride and Go Seek. Yeah, it's perfect. That ride's perfect because she's very accustomed to using a flashlight to hunt for monsters at home after she watched a scary movie. She lives alone. Of course,
tell people that.
Of course, it's not a monster. It's just heavy breathing from her asthmatic, overweight cat Gordo. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Her asthmatic, overweight husband Gordo. You know, I never had to yell at the old staff. A lot of the former volunteer staff here tonight, never had to yell at them. When Brandon Struve was making shows and commercials, I never had to yell at him to get the job done. He did that for himself. Literally, we had no listeners at that point. He did it for himself. Yeah. Brandon once left, walked out with other staff, and tried to start their own blog. And after a few days, they realized it wasn't easy, and they came back and excommunicated Banksley. You remember Banksley. He left to go work for money at a magazine. And then we instantly became profitable upon his departure. In fact, I made my first million 4 days after he left. That's how much people didn't like him. Of course, Brandon worked with Banks. Brandon works now also at a company we can't name on the show. I was told we can't name it. An evil corporation that's still paying people through a crisis. Yeah. Jesus, how much has the world changed since Bob Chapek, where we now look to themed Six Flags to set the example? I guess the losses for Disney were just too fast, too furious. Man. Justin Hyman! Justin Hyman was here!
He was.
Justin Hyman works for the government now, and they say Donald Trump is the only bald celebrity making the country worse. Nope, all right.
I don't like this.
Justin Hyman coming out of retirement is like Roger Clemens coming out of retirement. No one asked for it, and it was completely disappointing.
Oh, jeez.
Also, no one knows how to pronounce his last name. Hyman, Holman? Trying to pronounce your last name sounds like the opening of the Mickey Mouse Club. God. Patrick Hackett is here. Patrick won $250,000 on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and then spent it on Funko Pops in the Disney Vacation Club. God, how many chair shots to the head did you take? Yeah, you know, at least one of those things will go up in value, but sorry about your Grand Floridian villa purchase. Patrick used to host Around the Hub. Now he's hosting Around the Crib. Yeah. And his life is now the pit of despair. Chris Lestraps. Oh boy, Chris Lestraps was here tonight. Chris and I remember once stayed in a hotel room in Anaheim that had blood stains on the walls and sheets. The sheets had some hard spots. And all I could think was, this is probably what Nick's bedroom looks like. And it was actually what Scarlett's house looked like.
Oh, boy.
Oh my God.
True story.
Yikes, that's not a laser zone.
Oh, Chris, I've watched you age gracefully from a grown man into the Ellen animatronic.
Suck it, Lestraps.
I've seen Chris Lestraps on so many game shows. Millionaire, Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. At this point, I've seen you lose more money than a theme park during a pandemic.
Weakest link. You forgot weakest link.
Chris has failed on more shows than Ron Deanna at this point. Ron's shows have had less episodes than John Carigliano. You know, Ron is a lawyer, but somehow he's never won any argument on a podcast. You know, I imagine Ron like a lawyer you see on TV, you know, on like Night Court. Nope, a little too far back for some of you, all right. Ron also hosted Deep in the Vault, which is also where we keep the sexual harassment suits against Nicholas Cicero.
Well done.
Oh, Nicholas Cicero, this is the longest section. Guys, you know what Nick's favorite line was from the Great Movie Ride? Here's looking at you, kid. Man. Nick attacks 20-year-old girls like the alien, first from the side and then from above. Here it comes again.
Oh my God.
It's amazing. No, they're interested, even though he looks like he's from Munchkin Land. No? All right. Too many great movie ride jokes. Should have got out quicker. You know, Nick and I have done several shows together, the radio show and News Tonight. In fact, we used to do the radio show from a conservative news station. God, how off do you need to be to get stuck with the creeper image working at a conservative news station? How do you top those guys? God. You know, we make a lot of jokes, though, about Nick being a creeper. But you know what, Nick doesn't even own a van. He leases. Still got to clean up the stains, though. You're still responsible.
No.
You know what? But I could always count on Nick to be there, as long as there is a playground.
Oh.
Otherwise, he's going to show up on the wrong day at the wrong time for whatever you've asked. You know, I think at this point I've had Nick cancel more plans than Disneyland Paris. Oh, God. But you know what? Seriously, I am really thankful to everyone who came here and roasted me tonight. I would not be where I am today without all of you and everyone on this staff. So thank you guys so much. I hope you finally got to get out a lot of your frustrations and angers. I'd also like to thank my few supporters out there, all 5 of you. I'd like to thank you. And of course, my detractors who have led to WDWNT's success more than any of us have. I mean, just them continuously tweeting about us. I mean, you can't buy that kind of marketing, right? So thank you for being stupid enough to do that for free. And I know you're watching right now because you secretly love me, but thank you guys so much for your support as well, even though you claim to hate. But thank you. Thank you all so much. It was a fun evening. Thank you.
Was a fantastic evening. Big round of applause for Tom Corless. A lot of people thought that Tom could Shandu, but it's apparent Shan cannot. Big shout out to everyone who participated tonight. That's Eric, Ron, Chris, Jess, Patrick, Brandon, Jill, Nick, Anthony, Jason, Colleen, and of course our obnoxious leader, Mr. Tom Corless.
Thanks to Larry Elder.
I want to thank every one of you out there for watching. We would not do this if it wasn't for you. We know you guys are going through a hard time, and hopefully you got to laugh a little bit tonight. I want to give a big thank you to Tom for being such a great sport, letting us come out and roast him this evening, as well as everyone here on the dais. If you liked tonight's program, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Feel free to comment on all of our news articles over at WDWNT.com. We have our YouTube page. I'm sure you found us tonight, so you know where to find us. Big thank you to all of you. Please stay safe. Wash your damn hands. I'm Pete Carney. Good night from WDWNT. This is the roast of Tom Corless. Wishing you all a fantastic evening. Go get some sleep. We'll see you later on.